Hello and welcome back to Fresh Off the Reel. My name is Hyperlink Hacker.
My name is Pineapples Hacker.
And we have a special guest with us today, a fellow hacker. It's Toon Boy.
Sorry, guys, I'm real busy hacking. It's me, Toon Boy, hacking the local cineplexes of Canada.
He's in the mainframe, guys. He's in the mainframe.
Howdy, y'all.
It's been a while that we haven't recorded an episode here, but we're finally back and hopefully in full swing once more. And we're back with our favorite guest, of course. We're going to introduce him for real now. It's Stefano. Everybody welcome Stefano once again.
Clap, clap.
Clap, clap.
I'm your favorite. I'm
You're
also your
our
only guest, so-
You're also the only. The list isn't only. We're getting many messages about guest stars, so maybe it won't be lonely for long.
Yeah, I took a look at that list. Jamie Lee Curtis. Holy shit,
Wait,
guys.
no spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers.
I don't want to tell the good people that we're getting... Oh, fuck, what's his name? One Piece character. Chopper.
Chopper's biggest fan, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Chopper's biggest fan, Jamie Lee Curtis.
And since Stefano's on the show, you all know what that means. We're doing our 2023 year in review. This is gonna be a long one. I thought I only watched like 20 movies, but I watched a lot more than I fucking remembered.
We watched a lot of movies. It's been a year of cinema, a year of movies. I said the same thing twice in a more profound way.
A year of cinema, a year of film, if you would, a year of the motion picture. One of the big things that happened this year, well, right at the beginning of 2024, I think like literally January 1st, 2024, Mickey Mouse, or more accurately Steamboat Willie, is now public domain.
That's insane to think about.
That's crazy. Like, Disney straight up gave away their baby, you know?
Well, I wouldn't say gave away. They didn't have a choice, right?
Well, yeah, they didn't have a choice.
One, they didn't have a choice, and two, it's not their main baby, right? Like,
Yeah,
their main baby is like colored Mickey Mouse, you know, the red shorts, the big yellow shoes.
Yeah, this is like Steamboat Willie with like the conductor's hat and everything.
You could use Mickey without the hat because he appears without the hat in the short. But it has to be the black and white Mickey. It can't be red.
It's not like it's Sorcerer's Apprentice Mickey, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna come soon.
Yeah, that's also coming up on 100 years, right?
It's very close.
I'm
He's
sure
out the door.
Disney will end the world before that happens. It's fine.
Walt Disney is currently turning in his grave.
All right, so just like we did last year, we're gonna go over all the movies we watched in 2023. Some of them we have episodes on.
We're gonna skip movies we talked about on the podcast, and we're gonna skip movies we rewatched last year. So just to have things go a little quicker, or else we'd probably be here for like 4 hours. Yeah, so only first time watches of 2023. Doesn't need to have released in 2023, but we had to have watched it for the first time.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. The only rewatch I'm gonna mention here is at the very beginning, because I just want to talk about the first movie I watched last year, which was Glass Onion. It was a rewatch, but that was the first movie I watched. Good movie, good fucking movie, but we have talked about it already.
Did you guys do an episode on it?
Good fucking question. Let's find out.
No, we didn't. We planned to. We planned to do a double feature on both Knives Out and Glass Onion. Like many of our plans, they fell through the cracks.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's talk. Like, let's get the elephant out of the room, okay? It has been a long time. It's my fault. I'm sorry. I decided to go back to school, and now I'm IT man. It happened. I'm hacker boy.
He's official hacker boy now.
We're real hackers today. If you don't get that joke, we'll talk about it in a little bit. In maybe 2 hours.
Yeah, maybe 2 hours.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. All right, let's get straight into it. Well, Pat, what was the first movie you watched last year?
First movie I watched, we did an episode on actually, so I won't talk about it in depth, but I watched Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I believe we watched that together, all three of us. If you want to hear our thoughts, the episode is in our list. Go find it. It's a good movie.
Nominated for an Oscar.
Did it win?
No,
No.
Pinocchio won.
Ah,
Let's go. Pinocchio won.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go,
I
Pinocchio.
forgot the Oscars.
I forgot the Oscars.
I forgot they happened. I forgot that they're real.
Yeah, well, they're happening again this year, so maybe we'll do an episode on that. Hint, hint. I tapped my nose when I did that, but you couldn't see that.
We're not showing webcams.
We're not showing cameras. What are we? Some kind of fucking? What are we? Cold ones? I don't know. I don't think so.
It's cold
What's a
ones
podcast?
with cold questions and even colder wings.
Isn't Cold Ones a podcast?
No, Cold Ones is the interview of like two guys sitting across the table, and one of them is a celebrity, and the host asks them questions as they eat.
No, that's Hot Ones.
Yeah, you're thinking
Oh,
about hot
cold
ones.
No,
One.
I'm talking about Cold Ones. It's Max Mofo's podcast.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
It's a podcast where they bring in special guests and they drink alcohol and they just shoot the shit.
Oh yeah, I looked up Cold Ones.
Oh, it
and one of the
exists.
episodes has Sean Evans,
Oh wow.
and the last one is Belle Delphine.
Huh.
And all right, moving on.
Max, pay us for the plugin.
The last episode was in October 2020.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, what other movies did you watch, Pat?
Well, no, we're talking. Well, Stefano, what's the first movie you watched? Let's talk about.
Oh,
you.
the first movie I watched in January 20, at least in January, was The Pale Blue Eye.
What?
A Edgar Wright. If I could explain.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's funny. It's a Edgar Wright short story that was adapted into a screenplay by Netflix, starring Christian Bale, and it's a self-insert. Edgar Allan Poe is a character in this story. It's a murder mystery. Solid movie. Really, really drawn out, but like solid at the same time. Like it's a movie that like you'll occasionally if you're a bookworm. I was trying to find the terminology. If you're a bookworm and you love dark historia, watch the Pale Blue Eye.
I looked up the movie on Letterboxd, and the most popular review is Edgar Allan Poe wants what Benoit Blanc has. And I thought that was a funny connection to what we've talked about. But
Yeah, there's a really cool twist though.
I'll watch it. I'll give that a watch.
Yeah, I actually do want. I want to see that because that sounds good. I like Edgar Allan Poe stories.
I had to do a whole class on him.
Nice.
And man, was he fucked up.
Yeah, he was a little bit of a fucked up guy.
Him and H.P. Lovecraft should be in a room together.
I'm sure if they. I don't know if they ever had the chance that they could have met. I don't think so, but if they could have, I would have paid to see that.
I like how this podcast becomes just recommending each other movies. Like when it boils down to it.
Yeah, dude, like when you love movies, you love movies. And when you talk about movies to people who also love movies, all you end up doing is just talking about movies you haven't seen. And then one person in the group has seen it, and then you're like, oh, you gotta watch it, you gotta watch it. It's the best. I love it.
But actually, I don't like movies.
Get the fuck out then.
My recent announcement to be the podcast's new host. This is my audition tape.
Woo! Yeah, all right. Stefano's the new host of Fresh Off the Reel. Everybody give him a round of applause. He's in.
Actually, never seen a movie in my life.
Yeah, you know what? Get out.
So, Lib, what did you watch in January?
So I watched Avatar: The Way of the Water. Because
Oh, that was 2023?
it was 2023. Well, it came out in 2022, but I watched it in 2023.
Oh, I see.
Because, I was doing my Oscars watch, and that got nominated for Best Picture somehow, and also didn't win anything. I don't think it won anything.
I don't think so, actually. Hold on.
I can't remember, but Avatar: The Way of the Water was fine. Like, I don't really know why James Cameron wants to do more Avatar sequels. I mean, yeah, look, the first movie made a lot of money, but ask literally anybody. Just go up to anybody who's seen Avatar and be like, "Hey, tell me one thing that happened in Avatar besides the weird hair sex scene," and no one's ever gonna answer.
Just update. It was nominated for 4 Oscars and it won Best VFX.
Best VF. Okay, that makes sense.
We're getting like a quadro of these movies. We're getting 4, right? Or
5.
I think 5. I don't like. I mean, I guess I know why it made money, but
No,
I
stand
don't-
corrected. 8.
Yeah. Oh, 8.
8. Oh my God, James! Are you sure you're not gonna die before you finish these movies?
He's in his midlife crisis. Leave him alone.
I couldn't tell you anything about the first movie. I watched it, and that's all I can say. I didn't watch this one. It's the only Oscars, it's the only Best Picture nominee I didn't watch last year. I probably never will because I can't, and I don't care. That's what it boils down to. I can't be bothered.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's like it's this dumb movie. I don't know. Like it's beautiful. It's very visually nice. If I would have seen it in theaters, maybe I would have liked it more. But it was just Avatar again. War is bad. Military is bad. You know that's all the movie really boils down to.
Yeah, pretty much.
In 2023, I started rewatching. I know Stefano's gonna understand me on this one. I started rewatching all of the Top Gear specials, and there was one that I never saw before that I watched this year, and it was the Polar special. Not much to say. They kind of just like race to get to the North Pole as fast as possible. That's pretty much it. Good special. And then the other thing I watched in January was Pokemon Detective Pikachu, which I'm pretty sure was for the podcast.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, I also watched Marcel the Show with Shoes On, which was also for the podcast.
Great movie. We talked about it, but it's great.
Yeah, and that's my January.
My January is a lot shorter than I thought it was. I rewatched a lot of movies, so I'm not going to talk about those. I watched Strange World, Disney Strange World this year. I want to read my review.
Go
Because
for it.
Go ahead.
I think it's a funny insight on what I was feeling while watching this movie.
Go ahead.
I'm not gonna do this often. Just this one's funny. It was fine. I reinstalled Fire Emblem Heroes, tried to pull Colgate Chan with whatever free arms I would get as login bonuses. I did not pull her. All right, this is supposed to be a movie review. I guess this is more about the movie than anything else, though. Oops. So that's my review.
So you were bored.
It's fine. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
I didn't.
Nah.
It's fine. I don't think it's as bad as some people are making it out to be. Definitely wouldn't watch it again, but like it's alright. It's enjoyable.
I heard it was just boring.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of boring. I mean, I was pulling for gotcha characters, so yeah, it's pretty boring. But it's fine.
Since we're on the topic of Disney, I just want to like mention because the last Disney movie I watched this year was Elemental. That's Pixar, but I haven't seen like Wish. I haven't seen Strange World. Did they do another one? Did they do a third one? I forgot if they did.
No, I think that was it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, unless you count, because I'm assuming we're gonna get to that at some point. The live action version of Little Mermaid.
Yeah, that too. We can count that too.
I
Just
don't know. Was that this year?
that was this year, yeah.
Or last year. It was last year.
2023, yeah. Guys, when we talk about this year, even though we're in 2024 now, we're probably talking about 2023 just because.
Yeah, we really shouldn't confuse it. We're talking about 2023.
Disney. Have you guys noticed that Disney's just like not doing great? You know?
No, it was the Haunted Mansion. That's the
Haunted Mansion.
Haunted
yeah.
Mansion.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it, but I just looked up the list.
Disney's just straight up not making good movies lately. Like 2023 was such an off year for Disney.
I think the mentality of let's pump out nostalgia, let's keep rebooting these movies, let's like do sequels of these movies instead of creating something new. There's two things that I want to mention. I think the wheel is starting to rust.
Yeah.
And we see it. And I think a lot of audiences are kind of tired of the same schlock that they keep pulling out just for the sake of getting some pocket change. But then when they do end up creating something original, I think it's because they're so used to the formulaic system of reboots and rebranding, whatever, that it transfers over to their original content and it suffers.
I remember we had this conversation and I was defending it, like Disney. I was like, well, they just had an off year, whatever. And part of me, I still kind of believe that's true. I think they just had an off year. But looking back now, the declining, because I'm not even including the Little Mermaid, because that was about what we all expected in terms of quality.
Yeah.
But Strange World, I thought Elemental was enjoyable, but that's Pixar.
Yeah, I liked Elemental. For
Elemental,
the record, I liked
like,
Elemental.
Pixar is excluded in this conversation.
But I also feel like the buzz around these movies is a lot quieter too. Like I thought
Yeah.
Elemental was good, but no one's talking about it. I feel like people talked about Soul and even Turning Red like for a lot longer. But like it feels like Elemental came out and then that's it. We moved on. We didn't talk about it any further.
Elemental is a weird case though, because it came out, it didn't do well at the box office, but everybody who has seen it loved it.
Yeah,
It's a
Unfortunately,
very good movie.
did it get a
So like,
theatrical release?
it did.
yeah.
It was a yeah. It was in theaters. Not a lot of people went to go see it in theaters. I don't know why. Maybe it was just like a stroke of bad luck that they decided on the day that the movie released. Not a lot of people were going to cinemas at the time, and then that's why it failed at the box office. But anybody who has seen it on like Disney Plus or like secondhand sources or whatever, they when they saw it, there's good fucking ratings on this movie. And I genuinely think it's going to be nominated for Best Animated.
Yeah, I think so too. Like I really liked Elemental. I thought it had some really good themes. The animation is beautiful. I saw a lot of people saying that the animation was like boring. How like it looks so good. They were able to do like realistic fire and have it like move around like a person without rotoscoping. Like
That's impressive.
it's
And
really
that takes
impressive.
years to do that. They literally had to create a new program so it looks good. That's what Pixar is famous for. When they do the modern CG shit with their current software, the software that everybody uses, at some point during the process they want to go above and beyond, but the software can't handle it or just doesn't have the technology for it. So they'll create a new software for it to look like actual water, for it to look like actual fire, and to move like actual water and actual fire.
Yeah, and people they just don't understand like the effort that goes into this and like I thought the story was good. I resonated a bit with it. It was very touching. The love story is like Disney doing another love story. It doesn't mean it's bad. Just because they do another love story, they've done bad love stories before. I think Frozen is a example of that. And like a while ago, Disney was like, I think the reason why it felt that this year was like so like it hurt watching Disney movies this year was like a couple of years ago. Disney was on a decline again, like they're like what was happening right now. Like they made Frozen 2 and some other shit, and then they released Encanto, and Encanto was great. Like I love Encanto. They made Encanto. It was really good. Soul was really good. I think it came out the year before, right?
Yeah, it was during COVID.
Luca was really good, and like so it's like okay, so now they came back from their slump, and now they're in another slump.
Do you guys think the era of theatrical kids movies is kind of got killed off by
Oh,
streaming and TikTok and stuff like that?
that is a good fucking question, and I think the answer is yes. I think kids movies and like to some extent kids TV shows just like doesn't really exist anymore. Like maybe it's because I'm not a kid and I'm not looking for kids movies and kids shows, but like when I was a kid, I would go into theaters and I would see like a bunch of kids. Like I remember watching Hotel Transylvania in theaters. I remember, like Shrek was aimed towards kids. At least Shrek 1 and 2 was. Shrek 4 kind of wasn't. And then you got like all the Disney movies that were coming out. Like Frozen 1 and 2 definitely really for kids, but Encanto, a kid can enjoy it, but there's a lot of complicated and there's a lot of like nuance in that movie that I think only an adult would understand. Same with Elemental.
Like when I say kids movie, I mean like family movies, because I don't want to boil it down to kids movies need to be stupid and treat them that way. I mean like is the era of like kids going with their parents or whatever to the movie theater and watching these movies, did that get killed off by stuff like TikTok and streaming and what have you?
Yeah, it probably got killed off by COVID because like how often do you see kids at a movie theater these days?
It's because of COVID that launched all these streaming programs, Disney Plus, Hulu, whatever. And it was because of that, because people weren't able to go to the theater. Every company had to make the executive decision, like, all right, we need to make these movies, we need to make money somehow, so let's just do our own streaming service, Paramount Plus, HBO. That was the release of the streaming era.
Yeah.
And then because you can't necessarily take that back when after COVID, right? Like you can't just like, all right, we're stopping the streaming program, because now you're seeing a very good source of revenue, and they're not just gonna close it off. So because they kept it on, and they kept putting stuff on there, and especially exclusive stuff, people are losing a reason to go to the cinemas. So I think it's more streaming, less than the actual COVID.
Well, no, I say COVID because theaters shut down because of COVID.
Okay, then yes.
Regardless of Frozen is an example. Regardless of how you feel about Frozen, whether you think it's a good movie or not, is like it doesn't matter, you know. But it was a cultural phenomenon, right?
Yes.
I feel like we haven't had a Disney movie that was a cultural phenomenon since COVID.
Yeah.
What was the last one?
I couldn't even tell you. I can't remember. But I can't remember like a family movie, you know, a Disney movie that took the world by storm the way like Frozen did.
I feel like that's been long gone, even before COVID. If you can't remember before COVID, then there's a reason.
No, I think I'm with Stefano here. Like the last Disney movie that made a huge impact is probably Frozen. It probably will be the last Disney movie to do that.
Because if you talk to the people in our generation and you say, okay, what's Disney to you? What are they gonna say? They're obviously, should I include Pixar or not include Pixar?
Yeah, include Pixar.
Okay, Finding Nemo, WALL-E, Ratatouille, Cinderella, Snow White, obviously all the princess movies, including Frozen, Tarzan. They'll name movies, but it's only movies in a very specific era. If you ask a kid what Disney is now, they'll probably give you like one or two movies, which is unfortunate.
You ask a kid today and they'll probably be like, oh yeah, Disney, Encanto, Star Wars, Marvel. They'll say Marvel. Kids
yeah, they'll
Marvel.
they'll probably say Marvel because I'm sure everybody and their grandmother knows that the fucking companies they bought.
I wonder if it's just like TikTok and stuff has kind of killed off the buzz around these movies because I don't necessarily think it's the problem that Disney kind of felt. I mean, like Strange World isn't a great movie. It definitely like isn't like people didn't watch it for that reason. I think primarily since it wasn't good. But I do think that just that era of like these family movies kind of taking over like the kid generation. We're just kind of past that because instead of going to the movies to watch or instead of spending 2 hours watching a movie, younger people are probably on their phones watching TikTok or something instead, which is not inherently a bad thing. But I feel like it's more just the culture changed than Disney bad, you know? Because these movies still do well, like, you know, but they just don't have that buzz anymore. Like
you're not gonna get any memorable moments from Disney. But like I think Disney lost that magic, and they're desperately trying to recreate it.
Like you know it's sad when because like Elemental is Pixar, but like that wasn't Disney by themselves. So like it's sad that the best thing Disney put out in 2023 was Once Upon a Studio.
And it's a nostalgia trip. That's all that is.
Yeah, and
also.
it was one huge nostalgia trip. And you know what I liked? I liked Once Upon a Studio. I thought it was good. I thought it was way better than those stupid Simpsons shorts they keep doing.
It was cute. It was nice.
Yeah,
I liked it.
I liked it too.
I like that they paid homage to their flops as well. Because people still remember, at least like us, in terms of our generation of Disney movies, people remember Atlantis. People that remember Treasure Planet, and they were in it. They were recognized.
I think like pretty much every Disney property was referenced in that short, and like it was a good short, but like it was only 10 minutes long, and that's the best thing that Disney put out this year.
People fucking still remember Hercules. This movie is like almost 20 years old.
Yeah, come on. Like people today are still talking about how fucking good Beauty and the Beast is. You cannot touch that movie. Like they've tried. They did the live action version, it flopped. They tried doing straight to DVD sequels, straight to VHS sequels, they flopped.
Oh yeah, during that era.
Yeah, God, I'm happy we got out of that era of Disney straight to video sequels. I'm happy.
Now it's straight to streaming.
Yeah, now it's straight to streaming.
It's straight to Disney Plus.
It's just that this year Disney I think they're in a huge slump right now, and I really hope they come back with something good. Like, cause they did say that, well, not Disney themselves, but who's the Bob Iger, is that his name?
Bob Iger.
Yeah, Bob Iger said that for 2024, he's going to they're gonna do more quality over quantity, which should have been the rule from the get-go, but whatever.
You say that, but like, listen, you can't argue with Marvel numbers, okay? We get like 4 of those a year, and aside from this year, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, but like you have to remember that we got like 4 or 5 Marvel movies a year, and they all did stupidly well. So quantity, give me my money over quality for a while anyway. I think now we're kind of at a turning point where because these Marvel movies aren't doing well anymore, so I think they're gonna have to try to like start putting out genuine attempts again. But I can't argue with Mr. CEO Man who saw the dollar signs that we're giving him and kind of fall victim to the money.
The same CEO that during the 2 fucking strikes said, "Hey, babies, you should shut up. You don't know how our company is run. You asshole."
Yeah, not defending Bob Iger. He sucks.
No, I'm not saying you're defending him. It's my distrust in him. It's great. It's one thing to say something because it's another thing to actually do it.
Like, I like this for the audience, not defending Bob Iger. But when you pump out shit and it sells, you'll keep pumping out shit.
But now it's not selling anymore, right?
Now it's not, but it was for a while.
Yeah, it was before, but now it's not. That's why this year was the slump.
This was the breaking point, I think. So maybe we're gonna enter that next generation. You know,
We're gonna go back.
Yeah.
They're gonna go back to formula, like the first formula.
Back to formula.
Back to formula.
Well, that's our Disney talk.
That tangent went on a little longer than I would have liked, but anyway, to move on to more Disney, technically, but I watched Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
Yeah,
It's
awesome
good.
film, right?
It's solid.
It was good. I think I watched it in February. Yeah, I watched it in February, but yeah, it was a really good movie. I really like the animation. They used puppets for that one. Really good.
Yeah, Steph loves it. He's the Pinocchio boy.
You like Pinocchio, Toon Boy?
I just want to make a small comment. After this, I'll move on. God, that was the year for Pinocchio.
Oh, really?
During that setup, we had 2 Pinocchio movies and 1 game.
Yeah, Lies of P. If you guys, not a video game podcast, but if you guys have not played Lies of P, you should go play Lies of P. I say that not playing Lies of P, but you should play it.
Steph and I have both played it, and it's fantastic.
It's actually really good. We got a Pauly Shore Pinocchio movie as well.
Oh my god, was that 2023? I thought that was 22.
No, that was the 2023, but it was in the era of here's the list of Pinocchio content that was coming out. Here's a game, here's a movie, here's another movie.
And then we had the live action one, part of the Disney slump.
4 people had the same idea.
And one of them was Disney themselves. So,
moving
Steph, what about you? What's your January look like?
I saw Megan.
Oh yeah, that.
I don't like
Barbie.
Megan. I think Megan kind of stinks, and they're making a second one. And there's plot holes and plot points in the film that really seem hypocritical to the characters. But it's also a horror movie. But yeah, didn't like it. I thought it was meh.
I haven't seen it, but I saw online everyone's fucking freaking out about it. But I don't see the. It's Chucky.
Yes, to me, it's a worse Chucky. The movement of the doll is not creepy. The doll herself is not scary. Mind you, Chucky isn't either, but like it's a slasher film, so like whatever.
I was gonna say, I don't think Chucky's that scary.
Because
either.
Megan's supposed to be, correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't seen it, but she's supposed to be a robot, right? She's an AI.
It's a robot AI companion. Like for kids, it's like, its main message is like is the equivalent of putting kids in front of screens, right? Hey, you're annoying me. Here's a tablet. Watch whatever. Leave me alone. This is the main message that it's talking about. Instead of using a screen, here's a doll that could replicate human speech, human behavior, and cognitive thought, and can learn from you as it goes on.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that's the message that they're putting out, and they achieved it. But I don't know, it just wasn't entertaining to me. But on brighter news, here's a movie I think we all watched, by Tom Hanks. It's A Man Called Otto.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I did not watch that.
You didn't? I thought you said you guys wanted to watch that.
Yeah, I wanted to.
We did say we wanted to watch it.
Okay, very wholesome movie. If you've seen Up, it's very similar.
Oh, I don't like Up.
Well, no, I'm kidding.
Oh, okay.
It's this old man. Should I even say a synopsis if you guys are going to watch it? Or should I
I'm
just
gonna
brush
watch.
past it?
I'm definitely gonna watch it. So like, just
It's actually a really good movie.
what's out of 5? Out of 5?
Out of 5,
Yeah.
4.
Okay.
I cried at this movie. This movie touches upon like really hard-hitting subjects. Tom Hanks's performance and I forgot the lady, but the female lead in this, fantastic fucking actors and actresses. Banger. Moving on.
I, after A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, I just can't look at Tom Hanks without crying anymore.
Oh, he's so
Tom
good in that
Hanks will
movie.
make you cry. That should be the tagline of his next movie.
Except for Elvis.
Except
No, I
for-
cried. I cried for different reasons.
I can't dance, I can't sing.
The
Where-
final movie that I saw in January was it was something Cronenberg. What was the thing called again? What was the
Cronenberg,
director?
like the
Brandon Cronenberg.
Rick and Morty.
No, this is Brandon Cronenberg's Infinity Pool.
Oh, Infinity Pool.
Sorry, I'm just really quickly looking up the cast. Mia Goth is in this, and man, did she have a very good fucking career, because she's one of the best actresses in this film. I've seen her in X. There was what was it called? Pearl. These 3 movies is what I would recommend you watch if you're a Mia Goth fan. Aside from that, that's pretty much my entire January.
You know, January is always a slow year. Not a lot comes out in January. Slow year, slow month. Not a lot comes out in January usually, but the last year, like, look, 2023, like, as much as we just dogged on it, like 10 minutes ago, there was some good shit this year. Like, not just for movies, but for video games.
There was some good schlock this year.
There was some good fucking shit, man. Again, not a video game podcast, but like, the Game Awards did not do justice about how many good fucking games came out this year. Like, if you're a gamer, you ate well this year. And for movies, you also ate quite well this year. Unfortunately, a lot of the stuff you wanted to eat got delayed. But hey, that's film. Dune 2, that's film.
I'm not gonna be talking about the strikes, but the strikes did happen.
Yeah, it's resolved.
Moving on to February. Lib, what'd you watch in February?
Me? Okay, let's see. What did I watch in February? So, if you remember, last year, 2023's Oscars episode that we did, I really dogged on Elvis, and I mentioned that I didn't finish it. Well, in February, I finally went back and actually finished it, and it's just as bad as I said it was. it's if not worse. I hate this movie. I don't see any good in this movie. I give it 1 star. I straight up don't see any good in this movie besides Austin Butler's performance, but that wasn't good enough to make it a good movie. But Austin Butler's performance was straight up art. Like, it was beautiful. Really good. I watched The Banshees of Inisherin, which has become one of my favorite movies. I loved it. It was really it was funny, it was sad, it was dramatic, and there were a lot of fingers.
He used to be nice. Now what is he? Not nice.
Not nice.
Not nice.
Not nice. It's great, and like, I could probably like rewatch it a million times. Like, it's really, really good. If you guys haven't seen it, I mean, didn't win any Oscars, but it should have. Then I watched Empire of Light. You're gonna notice a lot of this is Oscar watch. Empire of Light, it was not bad. It was okay. Elizabeth Olsen was pretty. No, what the fuck did I just say? Elizabeth Olsen. Am I freaking out right now? Is this something in this mug root beer? Olivia Colman, not Elizabeth Olsen. And I watched The Sea Beast. Again, another Oscar movie. It was pretty good. Actually, like, I want to talk a little bit about The Sea Beast, actually. Very briefly, because I did mention it. I'm sure I mentioned it last Oscars episode. The animation was really generic, and, you know, it was like a safe movie for Netflix to make. But honestly, I have always wanted a Sea of Thieves movie, and The Sea Beast is basically that. It's Sea of Thieves, and like, it's the closest I'll ever get, and that's why I like The Sea Beast. Have you guys seen it?
I
No,
have
actually,
seen
I
it. We
haven't.
watched it together.
Oh, it's true, we did. Yeah.
I actually haven't seen it.
I would recommend it. Like, if you like, yeah, I know you like Sea of Thieves. It's basically a Sea of Thieves movie.
I've been wanting to take a look at it, but I've always been keeping it in the back burner.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And then I watched Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. We did an entire bonus episode about it. So I will not talk about this movie, and we're not gonna get into the tangent of Marvel this year. It was terrible. One of the worst Marvel movies, I think. And like Marvel this year, what the fuck did you do? Just saying Marvel this year, actually, what the fuck? That's all I have to say. What the fuck? Do better. But that's pretty much it. The only good thing Marvel put out this year, in my opinion, was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which I watched in May, but I'll just mention it here. I gave it 4 stars. It was good. What are your thoughts on Guardians of the Galaxy, Stefano?
Good movie. I did. This is the only Marvel movie that has made me cry. And my God, did James Gunn pull all the stops for that movie.
Yeah, he did. He straight up he was like, I might be leaving you guys for literally your rival, but let me make a really good movie for you. One last favor from me. And then he moved on to quote unquote fix DC. We still haven't seen an example of that yet.
Listen, I wanna make a statement now because I'm assuming everybody has seen this movie by now. Otters are the cutest fucking creatures on the planet. You know what they do when they're small? They hold their mother's hand so they can float. As they're trying to learn how to swim. You can't fucking do what James Gunn did. You sons of bitches. I'm coming for you. Anyways, moving on.
My only comment on Guardians of the Galaxy, because I watched it later in the year, but might as well get out of the way now. It's the last good Marvel movie ever.
Yeah, it could be. It could very well be.
That's it. It's
That's
the last one.
If it is, I would not be surprised, to be honest. Like, if it is, I would not be surprised.
All I watched this month was Ant-Man and the Lost Quantumania. There's a podcast episode where I talk about it at length. It sucks. I think it killed Marvel. That's where we're leaving that.
Yeah.
I think Marvel is very much regretting their involvement with a certain actor. We will not be talking about that on this podcast. And then I watched Sea Beast. Thought it was boring. Yeah, that's my take, and that's all I watched.
I thought it was boring.
Well, you know what? That's because you have never played Sea of Thieves.
I bought Sea of Thieves because you guys told me we would play together, and we did.
Okay, this is a can of worms. This is a can of worms because I didn't tell him to buy it. All I did was tell him that Sea of Thieves was on sale. That is all I said. He bought it.
You didn't tell me to buy it. You said we would play together.
I didn't say that. I said if you want to play Sea of Thieves, I have it and it's on sale. That's all I said.
That sounds like an invitation to me.
But I watched in February. If you kids would stop bickering. I watched M. Night Shyamalan's Knock at the Cabin. It's about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Another case of M. Night Shyamalan thinking he's a masterclass at cinematography. Alright, honestly, it's a fine movie. Solid. It's not his worst work, it's not his best work either. It's solid. And finally, this is the one I'm excited. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is released on February.
I need you to wait a little bit before you talk about that, okay? I need you to wait a bit.
I'll wait? Okay, I'll wait.
Wait.
But aside from that, that was my entire February.
A slower month than January, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
March is where things start getting a little interesting for my diary. I watch The Sauce.
The fuck is The Sauce?
Do you guys know what The Sauce is?
No.
So The Sauce is a very short film that was made for a film contest. And for the film contest, you had to make a short film, and you needed to include the line "Bitch, you the sauce." And the way these guys did it was, I'm not gonna spoil it. You know what? I'm not gonna spoil it. It's only like 5 minutes. If you guys haven't seen it, go on YouTube, search The Sauce. It's really funny, and I gave it 5 stars. So that was the first thing I watched in March. You guys have seriously never heard of it?
No.
Can't say I have, no.
Alright, yeah, we're gonna watch it later. We're gonna watch it together. After we're done recording, we're gonna watch it. We watched Creed 3. We watched it in VIP. That was really great. We did a whole episode on it. And also 2023 is when we finished our Rocky marathon, which we also have an episode on. Alright, the movie I watched after that, I watched Triangle of Sadness for the Oscars. And then I watched Superbad for the podcast, Tar for the Oscars, RRR for the Oscars. Great movie. Love RRR. Everybody should watch that movie. That movie's fan-fucking-tastic. Fablemans for the Oscars, and that was it. Again, big Oscars time. All those movies were good, except for like Triangle of Sadness was like, it was good, but like that movie's gross.
Yeah, a little bit.
I guess it's my turn.
No.
No, I'm gonna make Stefano go. I'm
Okay,
gonna skip you, Pat. You go, Steph. Go ahead.
So what I watched in March, I watched Shazam.
Which one?
The Fury of the Gods.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that exists.
Meh. This was
Yeah.
before James Gunn was appointed CEO? Question mark? I'm sure that's his
Creative
position.
director.
No, he's not CEO. He's Kevin Feige for DC now.
Yeah, whatever Kevin Feige's position, like executive producer or
I
something.
think it's creative director. I think that's what.
Creative director. Okay. That's it. Just
Yeah.
Fun fact: the next Snow White is in this movie, and she's mid.
Which actress is this?
Her character in Fury of the Gods. Oh, actually, I remember her name. It's Rachel Zegler.
Oh yeah.
I think she's a good actress.
Yeah. I mean, in Shazam, it was mid.
Mm.
It was mid.
Yeah.
I watched Willem Dafoe's Inside. Very different film. It's about an art thief that gets trapped in a home from home security.
That sounds interesting. Actually, I kind of want to see.
And then watch his mind fucking unfold from there. That's what Inside is. That's what Willem Dafoe's Inside is. And it's a good watch. It's a pretty solid watch. Willem Dafoe, great actor. And then travel all the way to March 24th. Myself and my dear old papa decided to go watch John Wick Chapter 4. Really good
I
movie.
still haven't seen it. Every time people talk about John Wick, I keep reminding myself, oh yeah, I have to watch those movies, and then I never fucking do.
Alright, so if that's the case, if Lib wants to watch these movies, I'm not going to talk about too much. Great film. Also shed a tear to my eye. Didn't make me cry, but I got choked up a little bit. Yes, that was John Wick Chapter 4, and I watched Murder Mystery 2, Adam Sandler's Murder Mystery 2.
I watched that too. Not this month, but later.
It's my same comment as Shazam Fear of the Gods. It's mid. But then we took a little bit of a high ground, and I watched a horror movie called Malum. Interesting, a very creative horror film for somebody having a psychological breakdown. It's this police officer who's now in charge of a precinct that's been haunted by, I don't want to say spirits, but it's this demon that was summoned by a cult who just so happened to be police officers at that precinct, and it's consistently tormenting her. Really good watch if you're a horror movie fan. Honestly, good scares, good atmosphere, good music, and hell, good fucking monster. I applaud the prop and the makeup team, makeup and costume team for creating this beast. It's very well put together. Then we make a little bit of a dip again, and we watch D&D, was it Honor Among Thieves? Thought it was meh.
I still haven't seen it. I kept, like, again, it's another thing where I keep saying, oh yeah, I have to see that. Because I play D&D a lot. I used to DM a lot. When I heard there was a movie, I was like, oh, that's awesome, and then I never saw it. One day I will watch it. Chris Pine is an okay actor.
Chris Pine's an okay actor. It doesn't look like a D&D movie to me. It looks like just another fantasy movie.
Well, that's what D&D is.
Yeah, I knew that's what you were about to say, and that's fair. That's an absolutely fair comment. I watched this with our good friend Thomas. You saw him on the Rage Room video that we posted. I watched it with him, and we were discussing about it. And I didn't like the writing. Nobody has an arc in this film except for the kid who was in Detective Pikachu. Chris Pine are the only two people that have an arc in this film. And they're like a team of like 6. And like, I don't know, like to make it seem more like a D&D film and less like any fantasy film ever. Cause like you're labeling this as D&D. Like it's D&D. So like, I don't know. I was discussing this with Thomas. I was proposing the idea, like, I don't know, maybe in like very crucial moments of the fight scenes, or like some of the scenes where they have to make a decision or they have to persuade somebody, or like just anything, there's like a shot of Chris Pine on the floor, and like there's enough room in there to like CG like a number 2 or like a 3, so we as the audience know like, oh, okay, we know what's about to transpire. It's think he's gonna fail because he got a shit role. I don't know, maybe something like that. Maybe that's too on the nose. But I don't know, something to make it feel like D&D instead of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, if you guys want to watch something like based on D&D that's actually really good, there's an Amazon Prime show called The Legend of Vox Machina. It's based on a Critical Role campaign. It's really good. Animation's really good. The story's really good. It's just good. Matthew Mercer's in it. You can't go wrong with Matthew Mercer.
He's Ganondorf.
Yeah, Ganondorf.
That's Ganondorf.
God, Zelda came out this year. That's what happened. That's the only thing that happened.
But as we traverse our way to April, Lib, what the fuck did you do?
We skipped Pat.
Oh, we skipped Pat. We actually, I forgot that Pat didn't go. Pat, what did you do for March? What did you do for March? I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna skim through a lot of these because there were Oscars watches. This was my Oscars month. For the most part, there's one movie I want to talk about at length. But otherwise, they're all Oscars watches. As I watched Creed 3, All Quiet on the Western Front, Banshees of Inisherin, Woman Talking, Triangle of Sadness, The Whale, Tar, The Fablemans, all for the Oscars and or the podcast. I watched John Wick Chapter 2 for the first time because I was going to watch Chapter 4. I have not seen it yet, but I've seen 2 and 3. My first movie for March is not for March, for April is Chapter 3. I'm just putting that in there now. And then I watched the movie. I watched I Have a Wimpy Kid. That's also for the first time.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
one movie I watched that Steph mentioned earlier that I told him to wait to talk about because I knew this was coming. I watched Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Let's go.
This movie started an unfortunate trend with public domain IPs. And the director of this movie said he's building a public domain horror cinematic universe.
Mm-hmm.
And the thought of that happening terrifies me. Not because this movie was scary, because it's not. It's bad. It's really bad.
It's another schlocky, classic, not at all original slasher film. That's what this is. That's it.
With no dialogue from the killer at all until the end of the movie.
Because Jim Cummings' voice is copyright.
Yeah, this movie does nothing interesting at all. With the fact that this is public domain now, and I get it. It's funny to have this childhood character. You know, I think a lot of people, especially my generation, have like history with Winnie the Pooh. Maybe not everybody, but Winnie the Pooh is a very beloved childhood character. So it's funny to think that he's a killer, right?
Yeah.
But man, is that such a boring take to do with these characters? it is, and all these movies do nothing interesting at all. With this being a horror movie, here's Winnie the Pooh. Oh, he's a killer. He's upset at Christopher Robin, and that's the thing I'm kind of afraid of that with Mickey Mouse, because I think Steamboat Willie has a lot of rich potential to tell interesting stories now that it's public domain, and instead they're gonna make a schlop like this horror movie. In fact, we already have 2. There's 2 of them.
Guys, you don't understand, audience at home. When Pat and I first saw the news that like it's official, Steamboat Willie is going public domain, he made a joke to me like, you know what you have to do, because we were shitting on Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and because I'm a cinema guy, it's my turn to make a Steamboat Willie cartoon, because the ToonMan,
Toon Boy.
I'm the Toon Boy, so I create the tunes. And after that, not like a day later, here's 2 horror movies based off Steamboat Willie and a game.
And like apparently, because there's been rumors of there being a Bendy and the Ink Machine movie.
Yes.
Now they should just straight up do it. They should do it right now. It's gold. They've hit a gold mine right now.
Oh yeah, because now Bendy and Ink Machine has created a sort of a community now, to a point where like they have the funds to make a movie, and it's great. There was the creator that launched a video. He sent out April Fool's video years ago on a Bendy and Ink Machine movie, and it was something that he really wanted to do. And he's like, "Oh, April Fools, haha, funny." And a little bit after that, just like a year or 2 later, that's when he was approached. Hey, you want to make a movie? And he's like, sure. Yeah, fuck it. And this is where, because I want to jump on to what Pat said about like there could be a creative liberty, or there's a lot of potential with Steamboat Willie, period. Just saying in terms of creativeness. Benny and the Ink Machine is not necessarily far from that era of cartoons. And if Benny and Ink Machine does better which it most likely will, then the fucking Steamboat Willie horror movie. God. We're all fucked. I guess that's it for Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey. We're gonna see a second one of that.
There's a sequel.
I want nothing more than to forget this movie ever happened.
Too bad you're gonna get a second one.
Well, that's too bad, man, because the creator of that movie really wants to keep going. And you know
He's
what?
gonna
Good
make
for him.
a Peter Pan horror movie. He's very dead set on that. He's gonna do a fucking Bambi horror movie. This is real. I shit you not. This is real. Yeah.
A lot of IPs went public domain. I guess 1923 was a big year, or 1924. Well, yeah. So moving on to April. April is slow for me. Like, this is where it starts slowing down because I had just come off of the Oscars watch and I was really burnt out from watching all those movies. You're gonna see that in my diary that I pretty much only watched like 2 or 3 movies a month at this point. So in April, we all watched the Super Mario Bros. Movie, another VIP watch. I believe we did an episode on it. So if you want our opinion, you could check out the episode. But Steph, you weren't in that episode. What's your opinion on the Mario movie?
The writing was weak. The animation is the star of the show. The voice actors did pretty good jobs, some more than others, but still pretty good jobs. They have a hard time writing characters and writing arcs. Music was all pretty much remixed music. Credit the fucking Donkey Kong rap artist, Grant Kirkhope. Credit them. I don't understand why they didn't. Short and sweet sort of story. They're gonna make a second one. We're gonna be in the VIP seats when that happens.
We got a Yoshi teaser at the end. I thought it was okay. Like this is an alright movie. Now here's another topic to bring up here from the Mario movies. There's confirmed a Zelda movie in the works. We don't know. It's rumored that Sony Pictures is doing it, but that I don't think that's been 100% confirmed yet. But it is going to be live action, and Miyamoto is apparently like overseeing the entire project. Now he did say that for the Mario movie, and it turned out to be, not what we were really expecting. But I have high hopes for a Zelda movie. It could work in live action. We talked about the potential of a Zelda movie a while ago, and if it was like in the style, like if it's live action, I'd want it to be something like in the style of The Witcher, not really like Lord of the Rings, more like The Witcher. But that's just
I see
me.
them like coming together, like a mix of both.
Yeah, I will say though, I never wanted a Zelda movie. I wanted a Zelda TV show because I think a TV show format would work way better for Legend of Zelda. But and I'm optimistic. The Mario movie wasn't that bad, and so it's either going to be better or just as good. I don't think it's going to be worse.
We're gonna get an announcement saying that it's published by Illumination. They're like, what the fuck? You guys do live action now?
Hey, you guys do live action? What's this?
They're so scared of working with other companies that they just stick to Illumination.
I think it's really funny if they do go with Sony. I think that's really funny.
Andrew Garfield as Link, Emma Stone as Zelda.
Yeah.
He's gonna put his earbuds on. He's gonna listen to Philip Phillips.
Yeah. So I just think it's really funny, like, because Sony would be working with Nintendo, right? Like PlayStation working with Nintendo. Because they were supposed to work together back in the day, and then they separated. Sony made whatever. Everybody knows the story. Not a video game podcast. But yeah. So watched the Mario movie, and then we watched Sorry to Bother You. But that was for the podcast. And those were the only 2 movies I watched in April. The other ones were rewatches, but we're skipping rewatches. So those are the only 2 movies I watched in April. This is going to be a trend for me. I'm just going to sit back and let Pat talk.
For my April watches, like I said earlier, I watched John Wick Chapter 3 to prepare for Chapter 4. I didn't watch that yet. I watched Mario podcast movie. I watched Murder Mystery 2, which Steph talked about earlier. I'm a casual enjoyer of an Adam Sandler schlock fest, but this one was kind of bad. I gave it 2 out of 5. I watched Shazam! Fury of the Gods, another 2 out of 5. But this movie sucks. Just to put it lightly, it's real bad. And I watched a little flick called Lego Monkey Kid, A Hero Was Born.
What?
A Lego Journey to the West, kind of, but set in the modern day. And it was very good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. The animation was pretty great, honestly.
Same
I watched
animators who
it.
did Rise of the TMNT.
Yeah, exactly. Same studio. I watched this because I'm a Dragon Ball fan. You know, Dragon Ball is inspired by Journey to the West. This is also inspired by Journey to the West, and also Goku's voice actor Sean Shammo plays Sun Wukong in that movie. So it was cool. I
Nice.
watched it. It was fun. I'd recommend it, especially if you like Lego things. It's got very Lego humor. Yeah, it's a good time. That's the last movie I watched in April.
I love Lego stuff. I've never heard of this.
Well, if you love Lego Ninjago, I bet you'll love the you'll love that
Yeah,
show.
if you like Lego Ninjago, you'll like Lego Monkey Kid.
Yeah, I like Lego Ninjago. It just has a has a funny title, Monkey Kid. That's really funny.
I guess instead of Monkey King, I guess.
It is very anime.
Yeah, well, monkey's spelled Monkie. So
I wouldn't say I'd say anime inspired. It's still a cartoon.
Yeah,
Like it's still you see some of that traditional Western style cartoons, but that's the reason why I fucking love that studio. It's because they combine the two, and it's fucking amazing. All right, I watched Russell Crowe as a pope in The Pope's Exorcist. It's about Russell Crowe exorcising a little kid. That's it.
Interesting.
It's an all right movie. If you love The Exorcist, Russell Crowe is like the John Wick of exorcists.
That's intriguing.
It's like similar to that, like that sort of badass, confident, like I can exercise anything. And the movie knows it's a little silly. But anyways, moving on. I watch Paint, which is just Owen Wilson as Bob Ross.
Oh yeah, that's in my watch list, but I never watched it. Was it good?
It's all right. I give it a 3. Like that's literally the only like the best description I can make of this film. It's Owen Wilson as Bob Ross. Then after the Mario movie, jump a little bit more ahead of time. To April 14th, I decided to go with a friend of mine, Michel, to go watch Renfield, a Nicolas Cage vampire movie.
Oh, how was that? It's on my watch list.
Okay.
A lot of okays here.
Yeah, I the action was the star of the show. I loved seeing the effects. I love seeing the powers. I love seeing the kills. And it's amazing. The dialogue is awful. The writing is meh. But it tells a good little story about toxic workplace environments. And it's not like it's like shrouded around like because Nicholas Hoult, who's the star of the show, who's Renfield, is Nicolas Cage's or Dracula's assistant.
I think you mean Dracula.
Dracula's assistant.
Dracula.
And they straight up in the film say this is a workplace, this is a toxic workplace environment. And it's just Nicholas Hoult going to an AA meeting for toxic workplace environment. And I thought that was a funny concept. It's so funny. For Dracula's assistant to do that, that's amazing. And it's funny, it got a few chuckles out of me. Moving right along. Okay, I did not watch this, but I really need to watch this. I need to watch Suzume. By the way, 2 anime movies this year that really should be nominated, right?
What's the second one? Oh, Boy and the Heron?
The Academy respects Ghibli, not any other studio.
Fair enough.
Only Ghibli, apparently.
Your Name.
Suzume is really fucking good though.
Suzume is the same studio that did Your Name and stuff, so I'm sure it's fantastic.
Then we take a little bit of a dip on April 21st, where I watch Ghosted with Chris Evans and Ana de Armas.
That's how I feel too.
Afterwards, directly after that, I watch Evil Dead Rise.
How was it? It's on my list.
Fucking good film.
Good.
Is that the one that I'm thinking of, right? It's
Rise is the new one.
Yep. Really good film, or nice little wonderful. I love the makeup. I love the effects. I love just the huge amount of blood. Which, by the way, this fucking movie was holding for a very long time. I see you, Mark Fishbach. I know you conquered that record.
Our asses will be in the seats for Iron Lung, okay, Mark?
Really nice reintroduction to the Evil Dead series. It doesn't play on like past stuff. It has the exact same book from the first one, but it tells a completely unique story. And man, in terms of cinematography, just the opening alone deserves an award.
I'm a big fan of Evil Dead, like the franchise.
Yeah.
But the reboot is kind of awful. So when they announced the sequel to the reboot, I was a little worried. I heard it's great.
Is that what Evil Dead Rises?
It's a sequel to the reboot, yeah.
I thought it was its own thing.
It's a sequel to The Evil Dead.
I don't know if it's a direct sequel, but it is the same universe as the reboot.
Oh, okay, then I stand wildly corrected. I thought it was its own thing, like it's a reintroduction now. But it's really good. Moving right along. After this movie, I went to watch Sisu, which, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, because I remember seeing the trailer for this film when I went to go watch John Wick 4. I don't know if it's either inspired or created by some of the people who worked on John Wick 4. Because this is very similar to a John Wick story about an ex-soldier who the Nazis went to go bother him. He is a miner, which means he mines gold, comments. He has his trusty pickaxe in hand, his little doggo, and he's going in the lakes and he's finding gold. He finds gold. And as he's transporting it, Nazis decide to appear and bother him. So they took his gold and killed his donkey. The dog, I think, was left alive. I think the dog was left alive. So he goes on a vengeful path to get his gold back. Does he get his gold back? I don't know. Go watch the movie. It's pretty solid. The kills are actually really good. This is a movie that Pat and I watched together. It was Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Pat and I watched it. Pat doesn't want to have kids after this movie.
I didn't say that. I did not say that. I did not say that. I want to have kids.
So reiterate what you said.
I am not currently ready to have children. I am 27 years old. At this moment, at this stage of my life, I am not ready to have children. But I very much still want to have children. Just emotionally, I am not ready to be a parent.
Yeah, this was a movie that was adapted by a book. Apparently a really popular book. Nat approached us and she said that, like, oh, I've read the book when I was younger. Like, oh, okay, cool. And finally, I end off my April watching another horror movie from Hulu called Clock.
Cock?
Which is about cock. Clock. It's this horror film where it's another like sort of psychological horror, but there is a monster in this film where she gets injected with, I believe, some sort of virus that brings up all her family issues, and the monster that's following her around is her grandma, and her grandma's kind of a shitty person. So go watch the movie. It tells a lot. It's a really good story. And I think the cinematography, the monster, the horror aspects are really nice to watch. And it gives that sort of eerie feeling. That's the way I would describe this movie. It's very eerie. Eerie and creepy. But that's Clock.
Cock.
And that's all for my... that's Cock. And that's all for my April. And as we move into May...
May is bleak. May is very bleak for me. That's when I watched my least favorite thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, so, well, in May, we mentioned before that we watched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, so we're not going to talk about that. And I also watched the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special right before watching Guardians of the Galaxy. It's okay. It's cute. They go back to Earth. That's about it. So then, on May 29th, our buddy, our pal, that Stefano knows really well, is we call him Slight. So Slight showed up in our Discord one day and was like, man, I just got done watching the worst fucking movie I've ever seen. He is a huge movie guy, and he is an actor. So we're like, okay, if he says this movie is terrible, we have to watch it. The movie he was talking about was Music, directed by Sia, the singer, the Chandelier. You know that song? She made that movie, 2021. It is the worst movie I have ever seen in my life. Pat was in the Discord too. We watched it together. Steph was not there, but yeah, we watched it with Slight. Steph, you weren't there, but I wish you were, because I want you to see this.
I have curiosities with this movie because I was told from my brother and these two and other people of how god awful this movie is.
It is actually
and
terrible.
it's slowly like rising up again now that you've brought it up again. That like I kind of want to see it. It's like watching a car wreck, right?
Yeah.
You can't drive by the fucking Metropolitan and then you see a car wreck and then drive past it, right? You gotta like slowly What's going on?
Yeah,
over
like
there?
oh man, what happened here? Oh, I hope everyone's okay. Like I don't rate a lot of movies half a star. It's very rare that I rate a movie half a star. Because that's 1 out of 10. It's very rare I rate a movie 1 out of 10. Music is the easiest 1 out of 10 I've ever given.
I also watched music. It's the only new movie I watched this month. There is one movie I think that exists ever that I think is worse than music. So this is the second worst movie I have ever seen in my life. And I am confident in saying that. This movie is quite literally dog shit. It is poop.
It's Poop Scoop.
It is poop. That's all I want to say about it. Because it is such an insult to my eyes and ears. Well, when someone tells me this is the worst movie I've ever seen, that like excites me a little bit. Because, it's a challenge. I lost that battle. I should not have accepted that challenge. And there will not be anything worse than I think. I think that's it. That's the worst. There's only one movie I think is worse, and that's not a big budget Hollywood movie. So like maybe it's not fair, but music is if I can include the other movie that I can't talk about right now, music is the worst movie I've ever seen. It does everything wrong. Yeah, that's it.
I guess we're gonna leave it on that ominous note.
It does everything wrong, and that's all I watched new in May. Aside from Guardians 3, which I said earlier was good, and moving on, Steph, what did you watch in May?
I think Pat has seen this movie, but it was like much later. I watched Blackberry, and I have to say, I can't see Glenn Howerton playing any other character that doesn't resemble his character from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. There's one scene where he's in front of like a board of directors from like the NHL, and like as he talks, as he like he's yelling at them, all I'm picturing is Dennis.
Glenn Howerton, he's actually my pick for Mr. Fantastic.
Well, it's too bad it's Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, too bad.
Which, look, I love Pedro. I think he's great. I love him. He's a sweet little man. Would love to have a beer with him. Terrible fucking casting for Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Just awful casting. But whatever. Whatever.
But that's pretty much it for me in May. One movie. Well, two, technically, but yeah.
Me too, but one of them was music, so fuck you.
You chose to watch that. You didn't have to.
I know I didn't hide. And it's okay because the first movie in June softens the blow a little bit. My first
Yeah.
movie in June
All right,
softens the
Lib,
blow.
go ahead. Introduce the first movie we watched in June.
All right, guys. Well, the first movie we watched in June. You know what? I gotta tell you, Steph. I straight up don't remember. Because the movie we watched in June was so bad. I don't remember it. I'm sorry. It's just a bad movie, so I don't remember it.
Oh, come on. You're the only. I'm the one who forgets things. I don't know what the first
No,
movie
no,
that
I'm
we
sure.
saw
And
is.
Pat agrees with me, right? You agree with me. The first movie we watched in June was terrible, right? You agree?
Joking aside, I do have one really big complaint about this movie. I talk about it on the podcast. The movie we're talking about is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So the first movie we watched in June was Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and we did do an episode on it, but we did it like right after we saw it, so it was still fresh in our brains. Now we had some time to think about the movie, and for me, some stuff has changed.
Yeah, same. My opinion has definitely changed a little bit. I still think the movie's great. Don't get me wrong. I still think it's a great addition to this trilogy. It is a huge step down from the first one. And I have one major glaring issue with the story, which this isn't the place to express those feelings. But I think the whole story around this movie kind of fails because there is no conventional version of Peter Parker, or really any conventional Spider-Man, who would side with Miguel in this story. That fact kind of makes the story flimsy at best. Because you cannot sit there and tell me sincerely that someone like Spectacular Peter Parker would be like, yeah, Miles, maybe we should let your dad die. You know? And that goes, obviously, the characters that matter, the ones that have actual like speaking roles and were prominent in the movie, they realize the issue towards the end, and they kind of understand where Miguel is wrong. And obviously, Miguel's not entirely wrong either. He went through some shit to make him feel the way he does. And I'm sure that's going to come back up in the third one and Beyond the Spider-Verse, where he's going to kind of realize the error of his ways. I know for a fact that plot thread is going somewhere that will make me happy, and I know it will. But this movie kind of suffers because I have to wait like 3 more years at least before the next one comes out.
Mm.
So I'm kind of stuck feeling like this feels wrong. Like
This is what Pat and I were discussing before, because I remember driving him home one day and we had a discussion about the plot holes in this movie. And I kept telling him that Miguel's not saying something. There's supposed to be, I feel like Miguel is holding back a little bit more information than we think. And it's
Yeah, no,
very
definitely.
key information that will probably be brought up later.
That's what I don't want to talk about this movie for too long because we have an episode.
Yeah.
But I 100% believe that by the time Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out, I'm gonna feel differently because we're gonna get the resolution, right? Because Into the Spider-Verse is a complete movie. This isn't. This is not a complete movie. It's part one of a two-part story. There's
Yeah.
information we're missing. There's information that's purposely omitted because they have to set that up in the second. That the nature of it being part one and part two is they're purposely withholding information so that they could tie up those loose threads in the next movie, and that's fine. But right now, I'm working with what I was given, and you cannot convince me that any version of Spider-Man would be like, yeah, maybe Miguel has a point. No, I don't believe you. I'm sorry.
For me, like, it's just that the movie cockblocked me. To say it in the most blunt way possible. This movie cockblocked me. I was like, I was really getting into it, and then it's not finished yet. I have to wait a few years to watch the ending of this movie, which is gonna be 2 hours long, and like, okay, like, it's a two-parter. Everyone knew it was gonna be a two-parter going into it, but I didn't know it was gonna be like so so connected to the second part. I don't know how to say it.
This movie doesn't end.
This movie has no ending. Yeah, exactly. This movie doesn't have an ending. It kind of just like it leaves on a cliffhanger, leaves on a huge cliffhanger. And I mentioned this in our episode about this movie, where I said it would have been way better if the movie ended like maybe 20 minutes earlier. Like, if the movie would have ended 20 minutes earlier than it actually ended, I would have felt better about it. But what we got is, in my eyes, an unfinished product.
Yeah, I agree.
I can agree with
I
that.
still love the movie. I have it as a 4 out of 5. I still love it. I think it's great. But the reality is, it's not done.
It's not done.
What happened here is, like, I got my entree. I'm at a restaurant. I got my entree, and they brought me the main course, and then I'm cutting into my steak and I'm enjoying it. But then they took the plate away from me halfway through the steak. I only had like 2 of my pieces of broccoli and I had 1 potato. And they took the plate away from me and they're giving it back to me in 2 years.
Yeah, it's like normally, like, if you go to any other movie, they give you your entree, then you have your main course, and you get your dessert. And for this movie, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, you get your entree, you start eating the main course, they take it away from you, you don't even get your dessert. You see your dessert in 2 years when you finish your main course.
It's really funny to think about. You'll see your dessert in 2 years.
I don't think the way they did it is wrong or bad, but I'm still stuck with what I was given right now. And maybe when Beyond comes out, I'm gonna walk out of Beyond and be like, this is the best trilogy ever.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, like, I know Across the Spider-Verse got huge praise, and like, for the whole time it was getting praise, I just straight up did not understand why. And like, I haven't rewatched it yet. Maybe I should rewatch it, because I felt the exact same way about Into the Spider-Verse. When I watched it for the first time, I thought it was fine, and everybody said it was the best thing ever, and I never understood why until I watched it a second time. I think that might happen again with Across the Spider-Verse. I haven't felt the want to rewatch it yet. Maybe, well, now it's on streaming, so maybe I will. But I'm still gonna feel that something is missing, and until Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out, I'm not gonna be satisfied. And once it comes out, I'll be able to watch both these movies back to back, and maybe if I do that, it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be like the best thing ever.
Yeah, like maybe when Beyond comes out, it'll be perfect, and maybe it'll be terrible. Who knows? But at least when Beyond comes out, we'll have the completed movie. But right now we're stuck with what we were given, and what we were given is half a meal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about it more maybe one day.
Yeah, I would love to revisit that movie.
I would like to as well. So what else did I watch in June? So I watched Juno in June. Funny. I actually did watch Juno in June. We also, on a whim, this is a rewatch, but I'm going to say this anyway because it's funny. For a few years, maybe 2 years, I would say, because commercials don't run for very long. Every time we would go to the movie theater, we would see this Verbo ad with Kermit singing a song. It's from The Muppets Take Manhattan. And like that song has kind of been an inside joke between us for a while. And then we finally decided to actually fucking watch The Muppets Take Manhattan. So we did. And it was great. I love that movie. That movie's so good. Well, you guys have seen it, right? Well, we watched it all together. What's your take on The Muppets Take Manhattan?
I didn't watch it with you. I watched it on my own.
You weren't there?
No, I wasn't.
No,
I
he
watched
wasn't.
it on my own.
Missed out, dude. You missed out. You missed out on Look at Me. Here I am. Right where I belong. Frank Oz directed this movie, the one and only. Cute movie. I love The Muppets Take Manhattan. It's one of my favorites. It's definitely my favorite Muppet movie. And then another on a whim thing. Pat recommended that we watch Son of Batman, so we watched it. This is the second DC animated movie I've seen. I watched the Flash one. What's it called?
Flashpoint Paradox.
Yeah, Flashpoint Paradox. We watched that, and it's pretty good. It was pretty funny, actually. I liked the Son of Batman quite a bit, and I just found out from looking on Letterboxd that this is actually a series of movies. There's 4 movies in this series.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Oh, okay.
They're all fine. They're
Yeah,
fine movies.
Son of Batman is first, then there's Batman versus Robin, then Batman Bad Blood, and Batman Hush. And I know, Steph, you've told me to watch Batman Hush.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people have told me to watch Batman Hush. I need to watch this.
Because that was the inspiration. It was that and Zodiac that was the inspiration for Robert Pattinson's Batman.
Ah, okay.
So you'll see a lot of elements with it.
Yeah, I know. Actually, I know we watched the Batman recently, and Pat was talking about how Hush would be a good villain. But yeah, so we watched Son of Batman. It was pretty good, and I'm gonna read my review for that. It's only one word: Bat Dad. And the last movie I quote unquote watched was Boyhood. Now I say quote unquote because, well, I've seen it before, and I think we've mentioned it in passing on the podcast once or twice that I don't really like Boyhood. But one time I had a dream, and I dreamed about the movie Boyhood. Like, I dreamed the movie, and so I logged it.
Man saw a whole film in his head.
I watched a movie in my sleep, and then I logged it, and then when I logged it, I wrote, I dreamt of this movie last night, the dream version was better.
They should log Beyond the Spider-Verse then, because I dreamed that movie. You know, it's fine. It's 5 out of 5. It's perfect. It's perfect. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I watched in June.
How was your June?
I watched nothing that I can talk about aside from Spider-Verse. So yeah.
All right, good month.
Not
All
even
right.
like you don't even have movies that like refer to the podcast.
Yeah, but they're all,
We're
I'm not going to
skipping
mention them because we're skipping over those. Right? I watched Juno. I watched Muppets Take Manhattan. I watched Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Oh,
These are
okay.
all-
Wow, it was all just podcast movies.
I watched Spider-Man 3.
Wow.
Awesome.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's your Spider-Man reference for today, even though we talked about Spider-Man before.
June was a quiet month. It picks up. It picks up.
Okay, so I had a little hot summer for movies. Aside from watching a spider on my wall, I saw The Boogeyman.
The Boogeyman. The Boogeyman.
It's mid. It's kind of mid. It's all right. I actually had really good high hopes for this movie. I saw the trailer for it. And I'm like, oh, fucking yeah! It's been a while since I've seen a Boogeyman movie. I barely got to see anything because it was all fucking dark, and they all had dimly lit flashlights, so I couldn't even see the monster properly. Wasted potential. That's all I'll say for Boogeyman. Then I went to go with my friend Michelle again. He's back. He's back for round 2. And Dante. You guys out there should know Dante from JW. And we watched Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Solid. That's all I gotta say about Transformers. It's like, hey, it's been a while since I've seen a pretty decent Transformers film. And like, here it is. Then I saw what potentially might be my worst, like my least favorite superhero movie of all time. I saw The Flash.
I watched that one too.
I didn't.
It's so bad.
Awful.
It's so bad.
God awful. And a huge disrespect to the unfortunate demise of some of the actors playing these characters. I don't know how they fucking thought about that, but whatever. Awful movie. Sucks.
The Flash should be studied on
What?
on how not to do a superhero movie. I
Yeah.
think the Flash is the perfect encapsulation of what's wrong with current superhero movies. It's just cameos, mindless cameos, by the way, that don't matter to the story at all. So you could just point at the screen and be like, "I know who that is. I know Michael Keaton. Wow, I remember him." Even though like Michael Keaton being Batman in this movie doesn't serve any other purpose, it's just a reference. Okay, they show a bunch of, like Steph said, dead actors in this movie. They use like AI or CGI to put these dead actors into this movie, and it's so disrespectful. And it's only for, admittedly, people like me to point at the screen and be like, "Oh, I know who that is." The movie says nothing interesting. The movie does nothing interesting. It is Flashpoint, but worse in every way imaginable. I cannot believe they put this out. It is.
Which
It's not
big
even.
name director said praise about this film?
It was.
There's a big name director.
It was not Zack Snyder. It might have been Zack Snyder. I don't remember. It was either. I think Tom Cruise said something too. James Gunn said it was fantastic before the movie came out. Then it came out that he has said nothing about it since. Which I get it, right? The movie's not out yet. You have to promote it. You have to advertise it. You want to make money. You're not gonna be like, "Yeah, this movie sucks." By the way, this movie with my name attached to it, dog shit. Obviously, they're not gonna do that. But this movie sucks. It is awful. I would not recommend it to anybody. I gave it 2.5 stars. I'm lowering it to a 2 right now, and it only has a 2 because Michael Keaton's in it, and I'm part of the problem.
He's critical, but he's honest.
It's bad.
Go watch the animated Flashpoint movie. It's 10 times better.
Yeah, go watch the animated Flashpoint. Go read the comic. Go watch.
Go read the comic.
Literally anything else with your time. Don't watch this movie. It's awful.
It's god awful. Then I watched Jennifer Lawrence's movie No Hard Feelings.
Oh yeah, we watched that too. We watched it in August.
I felt awkward the entire movie. Not a lot of things made me laugh. I don't know. I get it's supposed to be a comedy movie.
I missed raunchy comedies like this. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I got a couple laughs out of me.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. It was not the best comedy, not the worst.
Yeah. I don't know.
Pretty much it.
But then we skyrocket with Asteroid City by Wes Anderson.
Ooh,
great movie.
Really good
Fucking love
movie.
this
I watched
movie.
it. I watched it this year.
Wes Anderson, never off point. Always. And while he was doing this, he directed, I think, 3 to 4 little mini short films based off of Ronald Dahl books for Netflix while he was doing this movie. And they're all bangers. I fucking love Wes Anderson.
It amazes me what Wes Anderson is capable of doing. Like it's crazy. Like everything he does everything he does is really good. Like I have friends who like swear by Wes Anderson, like everything he makes is good. I think whenever we talk about Wes Anderson, the only movie they never mention is Bottle Rocket. But like that was his first movie, right? So like
that was his first movie. Like, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't say Wes Anderson has created a quote unquote bad film, but he's definitely had weaker films.
Yeah. Mainly
his earlier work. But then he started, I don't know how. I don't know if it started with Grand Budapest, maybe it was Moonrise Kingdom. But then when he started getting his stride and perfecting the style that he wanted to do, hasn't missed since.
Yeah, I think the thing that where he found his stride, I think, is Royal Tenenbaums is when he found it.
Yes.
So Royal Tenenbaums, 2001. That's when he found it.
Hasn't made a shit movie since.
Yeah, honestly, all his movies are great. And Asteroid City, I watched it in November, but we'll talk about it now. Like even Pat, you watched it with me, right?
Yeah, we watched it together.
Yeah, Asteroid City was fantastic, and I would love to do an episode on it.
I fucking love his style of comedy too. It's like dry comedy, but like there's no reaction. Like there's the scene where Bruce Campbell is your Spider-Man reference. He was fixing up a car, and as he's explaining, like a I don't know, a piece of the motor or some doohickey falls out of the car, and then the main character cuts him off and goes, "Hey, what's that?" And then they look at it for like 2 seconds, and then Bruce Campbell goes, I have no idea. And then proceeds to talk about what he was talking about. It's so funny.
It's like quick. It's like it's like I don't know how to say it. It's like this lightning fast humor, and like they say one joke and they move on.
You know the bit in Top Gear where James May was talking about the Dacia?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, terrible news. The Dacia isn't being released in Brighton. And then Jeremy replies with, oh, no, anyways. And
Yeah,
that's Wes Anderson's comedy.
That's Wes
I
Anderson's
fucking love
comedy.
it.
For sure.
I love it so much.
Really good movie.
Yeah, awesome movie. All of you should check that out. Listen, if French Dispatch didn't get nominated for an Oscar, this is.
For sure. I hope it does. I really hope. Like even
needs
Best
to.
Picture. Like please.
Put it in something. On Academy. Put it in
Anything.
something.
Come on, Academy.
But after going off of Asteroid City, I watched Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken, which was DreamWorks' film after Puss in Boots. People keep shitting on the animation. I think the animation is fine. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like books like Hey God, It's Me, Margaret. That's what this movie reminds me of. It's books like that. And it really shows. I thought the animation was fine for what the theme was going off of, and it's all squiddy and sea themed. Like nothing is ever stiff. Nothing's still. Nobody has edges. It's all curves. And it fits. And it's just like a run-of-the-mill teenage movie, and I thought it was all right. 3 out of 5. And that was my June.
Yeah, I guess we didn't have that much in June. I have even less in a month that's coming up, but not in July. In July, I had one movie.
You should have.
You should have 3.
You didn't watch. There's some movies here that I know you watched, but we didn't watch them together. So
Yeah, we didn't.
Liv
watch
and I
them
watched
together.
2 movies in July.
Me and you?
Yeah.
None that were new.
There was 2 that was released in July that we went to go watch.
We didn't. I don't think we watched them in July. Then in July, the only new movie I watched was The Wolverine. So as you guys know, Pat really wants me to watch Logan, and he tasked me. I want to say 2 years ago to get the X-Men movies through so I could watch Logan. So I watched The Wolverine, and that's where I'm at right now. I think my next movie is Deadpool, and then Days of Future Past, and then Deadpool 2, and then Logan.
the rest are all good.
Yeah, the rest are all good. I'm looking. I have seen Deadpool already, so I'm looking forward to rewatching. I'm really looking forward to Days of Future Past. I've heard a lot of good things about it. But the Wolverine was not good. Why did Wolverine get 2 different shitty solo movies in the same it's in 2 years? Like in 2 years he got 2 movies in the same continuity. Like it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, like Wolverine's a really beloved character, but they did his origin already. So like I don't know, maybe lay off the Wolverine. But yeah, and also in July, because if you guys remember, we did the episode on the Indiana Jones movies. This was when Pat was working a really long shift, and it was a really boring day, and we decided to watch all 3 Indiana Jones movies in one day. It was fun. It was good. They're all really great movies, but if you want to hear more detail about the 4 Indiana Jones movies, including Crystal Skull, go check out that episode. And yes, we are still gonna do an episode on Dial of Destiny, because we did promise you guys that. Don't worry, that's still happening. Maybe next episode, who knows. But that's all I watched in July. It was only The Wolverine that was new.
I watched Mission Impossible: Dead Man Reckoning Part 1. Good flick. Kind of has the Spider-Verse problem, but it's this movie actually ends, so that's a bonus.
Good bonus.
I like Mission Impossible movies. I like watching Tom Cruise movies. Tom Cruise himself, very different opinion. But Tom Cruise in these movies, he's a crazy, funny guy. I like watching him do these crazy stunts, and it's very high energy. I like this one quite a bit. I watched Flash, which I talked about. I'm gonna skip the next two for now. I watched Shin Kamen Rider. It's the new Kamen Rider movie. Kamen Rider is a Japanese Power Rangers type thing. I'm not gonna get into that here, but it was really good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It's very gory. It's very 80s Japanese action movie. It's really good. I watched One Piece, Baron Omatsuri, and The Secret Island for the first time. Sure, okay, it's One Piece. I watched No Hard Feelings, which I talked about earlier. It's good. Elemental, we talked about earlier. I enjoyed it quite a bit. And I watched Joyride. I believe Steph watched that with me.
I think I watched that
Someone
with
was
you.
with me. Someone was with me when I watched
I
it.
think I watched that with you because I also watched Joyride.
Yeah,
And
I
it
watched-
has to be have
I
been with
watched
you.
Joyride in August.
Joyride is it's fine. I give it 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
It was fine. I gave it 2.5.
You know, it's funny. I wouldn't rewatch it, but it was for what it was enjoyable. And the two movies I skipped, they're podcast movies, but they're big ones. Barbie and Oppenheimer. These are the movies I watched in July. Steph and Lib watched in August, I believe, because Steph was on his trip at this time. I'm pretty sure.
I was on a vacation.
You were on a fucking boat.
I was on a boat.
I'm on a boat.
I went in July. Also, I just realized that all the other movies I read, One Piece to Joyride, were in August. Oops.
Told you.
Yeah, Oppenheimer, Barbie. We have an episode. It's a bonus episode that we did on both of them. The Barbenheimer experience.
Yeah, that was our last episode actually.
That was a fun movie to see. They were both fun movies to see. They're both fantastic movies that I hope get a lot of love this year. They did at the Golden Globes. I'm sure they'll continue to at the Oscars. I guess we'll talk about them more when we do the Oscars episode, because that's usually on the table for us. So we'll get there when we get there. But otherwise, that's it for July and half my August.
Well, Steph, how was your July? Omit August, please.
I don't know, Blib. I was on a boat.
Oh yeah, he was on a fucking boat. He didn't watch any movies. What a bastard.
I mean, like, in terms of the movie that were released in July that I ended up catching up later, I did watch Joyride with Pat. I watched Oppenheimer and Barbie with you in August. Oh yeah, I was not on the podcast, so to give my little critique on both of them, fucking awesome. Fucking love both of them.
Yeah.
We watched it back to back and it was a great time.
We did the Barbenheimer experience. Shout out to Cineplex.
Without diving in too much, because I would love to fucking just talk about them. But without diving in too much, brilliant films, brilliant acting, brilliant writing, brilliant cinematography, brilliant everything.
Everything.
And the last movie that came out in July that I caught up with August was a YouTube movie, actually. It was created by a couple of guys, Australian fellas, called Raka Raka. That was their YouTube channel, and they created Talk to Me. That's alright.
It was alright.
It's alright. I feel like they wanted to tell more with the story. I felt it. I knew they wanted to tell more with the story, but I don't know why, but I felt like something was holding them back for a bit, because this has a lot of potential, and it's fine. Still a good watch. It needs that extra kick, that chutzpah.
Talk to Me, that's one of the movies that were on the Oscar shortlist, wasn't it?
I think so. No, actually, was it? I don't think so. I don't think the Oscars considered this movie.
Talk to Me's on my watch list.
Yeah, it's on my watch list too. I don't know.
Still a solid watch.
Well, yeah, maybe one day I'll check it out. But yeah, I didn't know that was a YouTube movie.
Yeah, you know, it's on the short list. It's still a worthy watch, and even if it gets nominated at the Oscars, like, I could totally understand. I still feel like it's missing that kick. It's missing that bit of information, that bit of punch to the audience. You know, I wanna be scared.
Well, apparently a prequel is in the works and a sequel.
And that'll be awesome. I can't wait for that prequel. But that was aside from me being stranded in the middle of the ocean, that was it.
You know, legit talk, guys. This is real. I actually did this because like because he would join VC sometimes while he was on the boat, and well, he was on a cruise ship. We keep calling it a boat. It was a cruise, and
I was on a sailboat.
on a riverboat. We found the boat he was on this like website that tracks boats, and we just kept it open. It was I kept it open. I was tracking it the whole time to make sure he didn't fucking crash.
That's so funny. That's hilarious,
Yeah.
actually.
You don't remember when I
Just
showed you the
tracking my
website?
boat movement.
I remember
know
showing
which
you the
website.
website.
I know which website you use. My mother uses that. Yeah, but that was our July. And then I got back home and I went up to Lib and I asked him, "What movies did you watch in August?"
And then I told him, well, I watched. Fun fact, I didn't rewatch anything in August. All of my August watches were brand new first time watches, which honestly I think is the first time that's ever happened to me. So when Steph walked up to me when he came back and told me what did you watch in August, well I told him, well I watched No Country for Old Men, which was really good. It was for the podcast, but it was really really good, and I recommend that to everybody. I watched No Hard Feelings. It was okay. We watched Joyride. It was also okay. And I watched Elemental. We mentioned Elemental before, but yeah, Elemental's really good, and you guys should watch it. Watch Elemental. And then after I told him that, Steph said, "Cool, want to watch Barbenheimer?" So then we did that double feature, and man, was it a great fucking movie. Steph and Pat already said everything that you could really say about Barbenheimer, and it was like. It was amazing. It was such a good fucking, both good fucking movies, man. Now I'm just gonna go straight into my September right now because I didn't watch any movies in September.
Okay.
I only rewatched Ninja Turtles and Ninja Turtles 2.
Same. I'm gonna skip my August and say I also only watched 2 movies, and that was those 2. I didn't watch any new movies in September. But for August, there's 3 more movies. I watched Blue Beetle in theaters by myself. It's fine. It was okay.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hate it. Don't love it. Wish I loved it a little bit more than I ended up loving it, but it's fine. It's not a bad movie by any stretch. I really like Zolo in it. He's the guy from Cobra Kai. He's great in it. I watched Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Great movie. The Oscars seem to have forgotten about it on the short list, which is weird. But yeah, it's really, really good. And that's all for August.
The only thing I have to say about September is go Ninja, go Ninja, go.
I watched
Ninja,
nothing in
go Ninja,
September,
go.
so I guess Steph do both August and September.
I guess. But yes, as Lib has mentioned, I know that I mentioned Barbie and Oppenheimer during was it July? But like
July.
we watched it in August because I came back from the boat. And as Lib and I were walking out of the theater, he asked me, "Hey, how was your trip on the boat?" And I told him, "Let me tell you the last voyage of the Demeter." This was a movie that I saw in August. I really tried making that segue work. That's what my boat was called. It's another vampire movie. This is about, again, Dracula, but it's about this transport boat, this transport ship that were transporting goods, and in one of the boxes they stumbled across the tomb of Dracula, and they stored it away on the boat. They kind of have a teeny bit problem. Dracula is not necessarily dead in his tomb, so during the night he goes around and he starts festering on people on the ship, and then his wife comes along. It's a whole story. You guys should go watch it.
Is it good?
It's pretty good. Solid. If you like Pirates of the Caribbean and you also like grimoire sort of tales, pretty freaking good. As Pat mentioned, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Awesome movie. Once again, the animation is the star of the movie. I have my icks with it. One being, at times, at least for me, when I was watching the movie, I found the art style and the backgrounds blend so well together that at times it was hard for me to follow where the characters were going, at least within the action sequences. That, I have my icks with the writing sometimes. I get it. They're supposed to be teenagers. This is an actual, what teenagers would actually talk, like, would actually act like. And they brought in actual I think it was actual teenagers, right?
Seth Rogen voices one of them stuff. Oh, the Turtles? Yeah, they're teenagers.
Yeah, fucking...
No, the turtle's dumb shit.
Why would I be talking about the other cast member?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I would imagine not. I'd imagine they got celebrity voices.
Yeah, they got celebrity voices to voice the extras, the supporting cast. But as for the main cast, they were teenagers. And I get that's how they riff off of each other, that's how they act, that's how they talk. That's awesome. I feel like they've done too much of that. That it takes away from very serious moments and it gets annoying. And there's some jokes that go on for far too long and it gets annoying. And I'm gonna say this right now because I'm assuming that everybody out there has watched this movie already. These fucking kids are not ready for Shredder.
Yeah, no, they are not ready for Shredder. And Shredder is teased at the end of the movie. So
And
Shredder.
apparently, because there's going to be a TV series and there's going to be a movie, that this Shredder is supposed to be very threatening and very brutal. They compared it to another Shredder, like of Shredder's past. I don't think it's Rise, but it's another Shredder. To me, right now, Rise's Shredder is the most threatening Shredder out there. Apparently, this Shredder is supposed to be as threatening or even worse. These kids are not fucking ready for him.
Yeah, the turtles are dead.
These turtles, first brawl, first match, they're dead.
Well, I haven't seen Mutant Mayhem yet.
Oh, sorry.
But I need to. No, it's okay. But I need to watch that. It's been on my wish list for way too long.
It's good.
The other movie that I watched I completely forgot the month we were talking about. August.
August.
Michelle is back. Myself and Michelle are back for a third round, and we watched Blue Beetle. It's very Marvel.
For a
That's my
DC
critique on
movie,
it.
it's very Marvel.
It looks, sounds, acts, camera works, lights, editing, pretty much like you could convince me this is a Marvel film. But aside from that, that is my August. But as for my September, because I just remember now that you guys wanted me to continue in September.
Yeah, because we both didn't watch anything in September.
In September, I watched the Equalizer trilogy, and I was pleasantly surprised to know that Equalizer 3 takes place in our hometown, Spaghetti Land.
Really?
Not Quebec, Italy.
Oh, okay. I was like, there's no way that they filmed it in Montreal.
No, they didn't film it in Montreal. They filmed it in Italy. And the majority of the movie is all spoken in Italian.
Oh, wow.
The majority. And I was pleasantly surprised. I'm like, huh, spaghetti representation. Very nice.
Spaghetti.
And fucking, what's his name? Denzel Washington? Man, does he speak very good fucking Italian. Holy shit.
Wow.
And he's not Italian at all. Afterwards, I watched Dumb Money, which is the GameStop documentary. I know this is a documentary. I know it's just documenting events. That's what a documentary is.
You can talk about documentaries.
No, hold on. It's stupid. The whole situation is so fucking dumb. And the people that were in this that played the side characters who were gaining money and gaining money and gaining money and not fucking doing the one thing they should have done at the very fucking beginning, because I don't want to spoil it, ended up not getting their just desserts. And they're fucking morons for it.
Damn.
God, these dumb people, dumb money, dumb people.
Gee, wow, you really didn't like it.
No, I mean, like, I don't like the situation anyways. Like, this is just copying what happened with the GameStop stock market situation anyways. I don't like the situation.
Yeah, the situation was pretty dumb.
However, we then skyrocket to my fixation for the whole month, and probably the next month too. I watched Saw 10.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is when it started.
This is when it started. I've only briefly watched the Saw movies, but I thought nothing of it. I saw Saw 10. Actually, no, sorry, that's a complete lie. There was last year or the year before that I decided to watch the Saw movies backwards for no reason. And then when Saw 10 released, I saw Saw 10. I really, really fucking loved it. I thought it was a really good take on this character that we haven't seen for a very long time. I think it's worth it to watch. The traps are okay. I've seen better ones that he's made, but it's pretty good. And the situation that they're in really takes a twist on the whole scenario, because for the majority of the Saw movies, and for the record, I'm talking about John Kramer, anybody who has watched Saw understands that, yes, the main villain is Saw, but the whole point of the Saw movies is to play on, like, oh, who's the actual shithead in all this? But John Kramer is the one who put them in this scenario. He's kind of the villain. And we're not necessarily rooting for John Kramer. This movie is the only movie where I root for John Kramer, and it's an interesting feeling.
Yeah, Saw is a franchise without heroes.
Yeah, that's the best way I could describe it.
I never I don't get Saw. I don't get it. To me, it's not enjoyable. But yeah, I know there's people out there who love these movies. I don't really have an opinion on Saw. I've seen a few of them. I haven't enjoyed any of them.
Then there was Martin Scorsese's big hit, his comeback to cinema, which is Killers of the Flower Moon. I know you two watched it, like I think about a week or two ago. I watched it in September. Solid movie. All right. Not his best work, but not his worst work. In the middle.
I'll talk more about Killers of the Flower Moon when it comes up. But yeah, I do have some opinions on it.
Then I saw, which I'm assuming is based on a true story, called Pain Hustlers. This is starring Chris Evans and Emily Blunt, and it's meh. All right, this is about for those of you who don't know, this is about people that extort this drug that's experimental and actually does more harm than good. But yeah, that's my. Oh, I accidentally trespassed over October. Whoopsie.
That's okay.
I'll stop it there. And I'll pass it to Liv for his October because I still have one more movie that we've seen in October that we could all talk about later.
Yeah, well, there's a few that I think all three of us can talk about. So in October we wanted to watch a horror movie every Friday. I think was what we wanted to do. We kind of did it, but in October that's when I started school, and that's when I stopped watching movies. So the rest of my lists are gonna be pretty empty. But in October, we saw and I know just another thing. Because we went on our hiatus, we couldn't do Spooktober last year. But that doesn't mean we didn't watch any horror movies, so I guess this could be your mini Spooktober episode to make up for last year. We watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Friday the 13th, and Saw 2. I wasn't there for when they watched Saw 1, but I was there for Saw 2.
He picked it up.
I watched Saw 1 in November.
You watched it in November? I wasn't there. I wasn't there for that.
Yeah, I only started the Saw marathon in November. I don't know why you watched Saw 2 in October, but
I have Saw 2. Oh no, Saw 2 is November 4th. Sorry.
Also, for the record, Killers of the Flower Moon and Pain Hustlers I saw in October, not September.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre was pretty good. It was like, classic horror movie. When you think of like 70s horror, you usually think of something that's like not scary at all, right? Like Texas Chainsaw Massacre is not that scary. It's like it's more of a, I guess in today's standards, it's more of a thriller than it is a horror movie. But I'm sure like there's a lot of screaming in this movie, and I'm sure it was fucking terrifying back in the day. I remember thinking that while we were watching it. Yeah, it was very gory too. A lot more gory than I thought it would be. I've never seen this movie, so it was a lot more gory than I thought it would be. Pat, we watched. Pat, you were there when we watched it.
yeah, I was there when we watched it. It was a rewatch for me. I'd already seen it.
Yeah, it was. It was good.
I really like this one. I think it's a very fun thriller to put on. Same with Friday the 13th. I've already seen it. I've watched it for the first time, I think.
Yeah, I watched Friday the 13th for the first time, and I just, I think Steph, you were there when we were watching Friday the 13th, and I remember how much you were laughing about how angry I got at this movie. Like I gave it like I fucking I don't know. Like everything that the characters do in this movie, it's like they want to die.
Yeah, but because that was the thing that Lib had a struggle to understand as well. I'm not saying myself and Pat understand it either. We don't. But at the time, that's what acting was in terms of these slasher films. They're all supposed to play really, really stupid, naive people.
Yeah, they're supposed to be dumb. Because if characters in slasher movies were smart, we wouldn't have slasher.
Yeah, cause like Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out before Friday the 13th, and it was way more well put together than Friday the 13th, I think. And like I guess I just I guess I just didn't enjoy it. I guess that's just the bottom line. I just didn't enjoy it. I get it's a classic. I mean, it wasn't that bad. It was like 2.5. I gave it 2.5. But
2.5 men.
Man, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Yeah, and then the last new thing I watched in October was Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and again, we will do an episode.
Yeah, I guess we won't talk about that for now.
We
in
won't
case
talk
no
about
one
that for
mentions
now.
that, but yeah, that is something we both watched together.
Yeah, so stay tuned.
The only movie I watched that Lib didn't already mention, and I have to say this, like, October's a short one. My November and my December are very long. So I'll be excited for that. But yeah, the only movie I watched was RRR. It's great. It's fantastic. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. 4.5 stars. Sorry, I gave it 4.5 stars. It's great. If you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. Please watch it.
Yeah, actually, I would like to read my review for RRR. Actually, I didn't do that before, but now that you mention it, so I don't like making full reviews a lot. I usually like to be a little jokey. But for the five-star movies and 1-star movies, I go really in detail. But for RRR, I just wrote. This is what I wrote. Steph, first of all, have you seen it?
RR? No, I have not yet seen it yet.
Okay, you really should. So there's no spoilers in this review. Sometimes a movie comes out that's so good, so action-packed, so emotional, so well written, so unequivocally fucking breathtaking that you can unironically describe it as perfect. This is one of those times.
It is phenomenal. It is one of the best movies I've ever seen. It is. It is. Please watch it if you haven't. It's really.
Please watch it.
I wish I watched it for the Oscars last year, like year before, because that was nominated for an Oscar, obviously. But I didn't have time to watch it at that time. Glad I watched it now because it's great. It's just fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Is that it for your October?
Yep. Everything else was
Oh.
rewatches or stuff that mentioned. So
Oh, guys, you guys missed a movie that we watched. I don't know if it was in October or it was the beginning of November.
What was
What
it?
movie?
For the audience, let me paint you a picture. Once upon a time, Lib, Pat, and I, and a couple of our friends decided to get a little peckish one day. And we were trying to shoot ideas for what kind of food we were going to get. And Lib mentioned pizza. So we went to the only pizza joint we could have found late at night. We went to Freddy's. It was five. We watched Five Nights at Freddy's.
We watched that.
We watched that. We watched that in
November.
November. It was in November.
Oh, we watched that in November?
This is why I tell you to use Letterboxd.
We watched it on November 5th.
You know what, Steph? Steph, that is your New Year's resolution this year is to use Letterboxd. I'm choosing your New Year's resolution for you.
Yeah, I guess we might as well talk about that now. We did watch Five Nights at Freddy's.
Get it out of the way because it's a movie that I don't know if you guys wanted to do for a podcast.
No.
I wanted to, but we ultimately decided against it, and now I don't want to anymore. So
Yeah. Five Nights at Freddy's was like
fine.
it was fine. Like I guess it was not the best that they could do with this IP, but it was a safe choice.
It certainly wasn't the worst. I gave it 2 out of 5.
I gave it 2.5 out of 5. Yeah, there was a lot of wasted potential in this. There was a huge amount of wasted potential.
I expected it to be a lot worse, though. Oh, my review. I'll read my review. Willy's Wonderland clears, I fear. We'll elaborate more on the podcast, smiley face. Yeah, that didn't happen.
My review was, it's better than I thought it would be, but I thought it was gonna be dog shit. This is only kinda shit.
Better than I thought it was going to be, worse than what it could have been.
I think the creator doesn't understand his own concept for the fucking franchise.
He doesn't get it, man.
Yeah, no, but like, he
These are
wasn't going to.
okay.
I think
Audiences at home, I want you to pay attention real close. Get closer to your screens, or if you're audio, I guess if you're audio listeners, if you must be audio listeners, stick those earbuds real tight in your ears. This is a franchise about a serial killer who kidnaps kids and stuffs them into animatronic suits. While a flash forward years later, a security guard is trying to survive these haunted animatronics as he himself is trying to avoid getting stuffed inside an animatronic suit. Now I want you to picture that. How gruesome it is. What the fuck type of concept it is. Give me the script to your next fucking movie. I promise you'll see. You want money? You'll see money. You want? I'll make people jump out of their seats.
I don't
Give
want
me the script.
Steph and I have talked about this off, like, in our personal time. I don't want to get into it right now. But, That was not gonna happen. That was never gonna happen.
Look here. I'm gonna say something I never thought I would say in my entire life. Scott, for the next movie, let Matt Pat write the script.
Let Matt Pat write the script.
I know he just
I thought you were
announced
just gonna-
that he's retiring, but it doesn't mean he can't write a script.
Like, he retired so he can work on the Five Nights at Freddy's sequel.
Exactly.
I thought you were just gonna say, Scott, don't.
No, it's gonna
Stop.
get a sequel. It made so
Look,
much.
it made a lot of money. Whether like it's in the air if it's gonna get a sequel. My money's saying yes. Like don't let someone else write it. Let someone else write it.
Make me
Or
right.
either way, I guess that tracks us to November, so I have to now say my November stuff. Fuck you, Lynn.
What? I got
Yeah,
skipped.
you know what? You know what? Fuck you, Lib. Yeah, fuck him.
Aw, come on. All right, Steph, go. Say your fucking November. You're good. Mark my words. You better sleep with one eye open tonight.
All right, so the first movie that was released in November that I watched was The Killer, by
Of the Flower Moon.
That's another David Fincher. The guy who played Mysterio. I keep fucking forgetting his name. The guy who played Mysterio in X-Men First Class, the young Mysterio. That's him. And it's this
Mysterio?
assassin killer. No, not Mysterio.
Magneto.
Magneto. Thank you.
Yeah, that's Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender. His name is
yeah.
Michael Fassbender. It's about a assassin who gets scaffed from a job that he was assigned to, and he blames his employers. So he goes after, essentially like Mega Man style. He goes after like boss after boss to get his revenge. And it's an interesting movie. Solid, interesting. Now this is a movie that I watched later, but it got released in November. It's called Dream Scenario with Nick Cage.
Oh yeah.
I watched that movie too
Yeah,
in December, but yeah.
solid movie. I love you, A24. A24, hire me. I would love to work with you guys.
A24 should make Five Nights at Freddy's.
A24 should definitely fucking make it fun.
Holy shit.
Yeah, A24 would not touch Five Nights at Freddy's with a 100.
That's why they should do it.
But for a Dream Scenario, to make it very quick and brief, my review of it, great film. I think people should watch it. Nicolas Cage plays a really good character, especially with the other characters. One ick with it. One ick. I don't think, realistically, this is how people would react. Not the first half of the film, without spoiling it. Not the first, not the second act of the film. The third act of the film. For the sake of context, this is about cancel culture. For the third act of the film, in universe, I know if they didn't react this way in the third act, if like the background characters and supporting characters didn't act this way in the third act, we wouldn't have a movie, and that's fair. I don't think realistically this is how people would react to this scenario.
To this dream scenario.
This dream scenario. Anyways, moving right along. Good film. I think you should, like, all of you should still go watch it. Solid movie. Hey, remember Adam Sandler? We talked about him earlier this episode.
We did, yeah.
He's back. He's with an animated movie now. It's called Leo, where he plays a talking lizard. And honestly, good movie.
Really?
Yeah, honestly,
I was expecting
solid
it to be
movie.
crap.
In summary, it's about this old lizard who has been in this classroom with his turtle friend, Bill Burr, for many, many years, and he has gotten to this old age where he's terrified of death. And he feels like he hasn't lived. And it's a weirdly sweet movie. Solid movie. I think people should really go watch this animated movie. It's on Netflix. And finalmente, I've watched this later as well, but I want to mention this here since it's in front of my face. I watched Saltburn. What hasn't been said about this movie? I just was not expecting Barry Keoghan's penis. Wasn't expecting it, threw me for a curve. And he went on social media, confirmed it. Yeah, it's my penis. Like, huh.
I watched Saltburn in December. I did watch it. I'll talk about it now briefly because Lip hasn't seen it, and he's probably going to. So I'm not gonna get too into it right now. Mm-hmm. My hot take on this movie, because Steph and I had a conversation about how he didn't get it.
I didn't.
And my hot take is, it's not that you didn't get it; it's that the movie's not actually saying anything. I think the movie thinks it is smarter than it actually is, but in reality it is a dumb shock value. Not to say it's bad, because I thought it was phenomenal. I gave it like 4.5 stars. I think it's great, but I think people were thinking that people thought it was, when they walk out of it, that it's just like hyper intelligent. I didn't get it. Oh, this is so like artsy. This is so philosophical. No, I think it's dumb. I think it's a dumb shock value. And
I
that's my-
agree with you to a certain point.
But please watch it if you haven't, Lib. I highly recommend you watch it when you have time.
Yeah, I need to watch it.
It's
Such
great.
an
It
interesting
is
watch.
very, very good. The performances are fantastic.
Mhm.
I like that we have our little Robert Pattinson Jr. in this movie, and I can't remember his name, but the actor from The Kissing Booth is in this. And he's fantastic in it. I hope he goes on to be in a lot more things in the future.
And not the kissing booth.
Yeah, there you go.
His name's Jacob Elordi.
Yeah, he's great. If you haven't seen this movie, audience, please watch it. It's phenomenal. It's weird. It's gross, but watch it.
But as we mosey down and the snow starts to fall, it's Christmas time. Lib, what did you watch for Christmas month?
Well, you skipped my Novembers.
My November.
I
too.
thought you said you didn't have a November.
No, I have two.
I have a big November.
I thought all right. Go
No,
ahead, dude.
No. Lib, go first because you're shorter.
Yeah, go first.
Okay, so my November is very short. Like we said, we watched Five Nights at Freddy's. Then I watched at the time the newest South Park special called South Park Joining the Panderverse. And it was basically like making fun of how everything needs to be in a multiverse now, and it's hilarious. One of the best. Like, it's honestly, it reminded me of peak South Park. That's how good it was. And keep in mind, guys, peak South Park was like 20 years ago, right?
I mean, I feel like a South Park peaked when one of its songs got nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah, and that was in 1999, right? So it was more than 20 years ago. So like peak South Park was like some of the best TV ever. And this special and a special that's coming up that I'm going to talk about in December, I guess I'll just talk about it now because we're on the topic of South Park. It's called South Park Not Suitable for Children. This special and Joining the Panderverse really reminded me of peak South Park. It's like South Park was like going back to its roots and like going back to what made South Park so goddamn funny. Because I don't think South Park is bad now. I just think the newer seasons are, first of all, they're way too short, but second, they don't cover the like topics they used to cover. But then in Not Suitable for Children, we saw Randy's penis, so I knew South Park was back to its roots.
I'll talk about it now because I watched Not Suitable for Children with you. Not a South Park fan. Haven't watched any of the specials. Haven't watched the South Park episode to completion, I think, ever. But I've seen the movie, the old movie. I've seen that one. And I watched this because I was on the Discord call when they put it on. And it was funny. I laughed. Funny special.
South Park for me has always been like really like if Family Guy is considered turn your brain off, South Park is turn your entire body off, you know? Like that's how I've always seen South Park. And with the newer seasons, it's like, yeah, it kind of feels like they try a little too hard. But with these two specials that came out, they pulled out all the stops and it was fantastic. I loved it.
Watched it too. It was solid.
Welcome back, South Park. Welcome back. The last thing I want to mention that was watched in November is a rewatch. I've seen this movie before. It's the Illumination Grinch movie. I caught it on TV one night, and I just wanted to.
That's a rare occurrence, at least nowadays.
Yeah, I just wanted to read someone's review for the Illumination Grinch movie. It's very simple. He said, 1 star when the guac costs extra.
Okay. Solid review.
All right.
And that was my November.
So November was a big month for me. A lot of rewatches though. December is the big one. That's the big one.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just gonna speedrun my November just because I've been recording for like 3.25 hours. So I watched Saw 1, Apocalypse Now, Saw 2, Five Nights at Freddy's, Loki Season 3. Season 2, sorry.
Oh yeah, I also watched Loki Season 2. I forgot to mention that.
Saw 3, Asteroid City. Scott Pilgrim takes off. Fantastic. You guys should watch it if you haven't seen it.
Solid. Really good.
Really solid. It was a surprising twist on what everyone was expecting, and I think it did it really well. I don't know why it says I watched Ted 2 for the first time. I definitely seen that. But Ted 2. Flushed Away.
Flushed Away was December, but yeah, I forced Pat to watch it.
Scott Pilgrim Takes Off is the last November movie that was not a rewatch, but I did watch many movies in November. I'm just not talking about the rewatches. December is the big one, a lot of first timers for me, but I'll let Lib take off with December.
All right, December. For me was pretty short. Pat mentioned Flushed Away, so because we were talking about DreamWorks movies, and then Pat said he never saw Flushed Away. So as soon as I heard that, I immediately put it on. Tell us what you thought about it, Pat.
That was fine. I didn't love it, honestly. I don't know what I was expecting because I had never seen it and I had never even heard people talk about it before. I didn't catch it as a kid because I was 10, probably the ripe age for someone to have enjoyed this at the time, but I didn't watch it. And watching it for the first time as a 27-year-old adult, that was fine. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't watch it again though. I think I'm good.
I for one love this movie. I think it's one of DreamWorks' best.
I don't agree. But
It's a solid movie.
I
It's
wouldn't
not
say
Aardman's best, I'll say that.
No, it's not Aardman's best. What I say is Aardman's best is probably the last thing most people would say is Aardman's best. I think Aardman's best movie is Arthur Christmas. But I know it doesn't really feel like Aardman because it's not even stop motion. Like, at least what Flushed Away is not stop motion either, but at least they animated it to look like stop motion. But for Arthur Christmas, it's just straight up CG. But I do think it's Aardman's best movie, even though it's not stop motion. If we're talking about stop motion movies only, then Curse of the Were-Rabbit is the best one.
But I don't think it's like even a top 10 DreamWorks movie, and probably not even a top 15 DreamWorks movie. Like, it's just fine.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like, I'd put like the Puss in Boots 2, the Last Wish. I'd put like Shrek 1 and 2. I'd put How I Trained Your Dragon. I'd put like the Kung Fu Panda movies above it. I'd put Prince of Egypt above it. You know, like I think like El Dorado, Madagascar. I'd put those movies above it. I don't know. I thought it was fine. I didn't love it, but it's not bad.
El Dorado is so good though.
I love the Road to El
fucking love
Dorado. Slept on DreamWorks movie, honestly. DreamWorks they've only done 3 2D animated movies, right? They did
Prince of Egypt, Road to El Dorado,
and Sinbad, right?
Sinbad.
Yeah.
I forgot about Sinbad.
I need to cut you guys off for a second because I was looking through DreamWorks movies. I didn't know this existed. In 2010, they released a movie called Scared Shrekless.
Yeah, that's the Halloween special.
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't know?
There's more. There's more of
Dude,
those.
there's
out
Shrek
there.
the Halls.
I know about Shrek the Halls.
Oh man, yeah. And so Flushed Away in December. I caught Home Alone on TV. Love Home Alone. 4.5 stars. I love this movie. So good. Before I had Home Alone at 4 stars, but after rewatching, I put it up to 4.5 because I never realized how good the soundtrack is for this movie. Like, it's John Williams, and obviously everything John Williams touches turns into gold. Cause like this soundtrack, the main theme, I think it's called Somewhere in My Memory or something like that, is so goddamn good. And like the rest, and I knew that song was good, but this time when I rewatched it, I really paid attention to the background music, and it's really, really good. Like, what the fuck? John Williams, really, everything he touches is gold, really. And then in December, lastly, I watched Killers of the Flower Moon and Pokemon Concierge. Killers of the Flower Moon, we mentioned it. It was good, but it was way too long. I think it did not need to be 3.5 hours long. After we watched Killers of the Flower Moon, like a week later, we rewatched The Batman, which is the same length as Killers of the Flower Moon. It felt shorter, because The Batman used its time more effectively than Killers of the Flower Moon. I mean, Pat said this while we were watching it. I will just repeat what he said. If your movie is, like, you don't need 3.5 hours to tell your story. Like, if your movie's 3.5 hours, you can cut something out. At least I think so. Because, like, movies don't need to be 3 hours. And, like, we talked about this a while ago. There's this trend of movies being super long. Movies, they just need to just keep it 2 hours and under. I don't know why that's so difficult.
2.5 hours is starting to feel long for me. So
Me too.
maybe that's my advanced age as I wilt into the ground.
And then the last thing I watched in December, and the last thing I watched in 2023 was Pokemon Concierge, this little short 4-episode long series that was like it was stop motion animated with clay, and it is really, really good.
Yeah, it was really good. I watched it too. Adorable. I need 100 more episodes.
Yeah, I want more of this. My only problem with it is there was no Wooloo. Wooloo was not in the show. Please give me Wooloo. If you don't give me Wooloo, I will rate the show 1 star.
There's a Wooloo Funko Pop coming out. I'll buy it for you.
Thank you. And that's my December, and that's my 2023.
My December is this was my Oscars month. This is when I started watching all my 2023 movies, getting ready for the Oscars next year. I watched the bulk of it this year in December. We'll start, I guess. So I watched Flushed Away. We talked about it. I went to a Christmas party, and I don't know why I keep finding myself in a situation where people put on movies at parties where we're supposed to be drinking at, but then we drink and watch movies. I didn't mention it earlier, but I went to a Halloween party and they put on Nightmare Before Christmas, and we just watched that while drunk. Then for Christmas, we watched Christmas at the Holly Hotel. This movie is hilariously awful. I had so much fun watching this movie. It's dog shit. And all I will say is there's a character in this movie. She's one of the main characters, his grandmother. Her name is Grandma Williams. She's the character that will save Hollywood. Put Grandma Williams in Marvel movies. They'll be good again. Put her in all the movies. They'll be good again. She will save Hollywood. After Christmas at the Holly Hotel, I watched Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire. This is the new Zack Snyder movie. Zack Snyder's Star Wars movie.
So your Oscars movie watch, huh?
Yeah, we're not there yet. We're not there yet, Steph. I watched Rebel Moon, okay? Grandma Williams could not save this one. This was one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. It's really bad. It is so boring. So awful. And not even the lightsabers fights were cool. It's just bad. And then it begins. I watched Steph jump in at any point, because I know you've seen a lot of these movies too. Dream Scenario, which we talked about. Fantastic movie. I liked it a lot. I think I liked it more than Steph did. I watched Bottoms, another raunchy comedy that came out last year. This movie is basically Fight Club, but for women. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. It's funnier than I thought it was gonna be. The performances are a little like they're fine, but the movie made me laugh a ton. It's really enjoyable. I'd recommend it. I watched Beau is Afraid. This movie changed me in ways I can never.
I told them to do that. It was me. I told them to watch it.
It was me,
I will
Barry.
never be the same after watching this movie.
I love this movie. Unironically, I fucking love this movie.
I think this movie's good. I would recommend everybody watch it at least once, but I never want to watch it again. I never want to think about it again. I'm unhappy having seen this movie. I see things at night now. I close my eyes and I see things because of this movie. And to feel better, I watched Kung Fu Panda. It did not make me feel better.
Such a weird leap.
I watched Blackberry as my last movie of 2023.
Nice.
And Blackberry was one of the better biopics I watched. I think it's really good. I watched it on my iPhone, and that made me feel a certain way. But
Wait, can you read your review for Blackberry, please?
Felt dirty watching this on my iPhone. Is my review.
That's the whole review.
And yeah, that's the end of 2023 for me anyway. It was a good year for movies.
Yeah, I think it's a great year for me too. But let's hear about Stefano's December.
I just noticed I did not watch a Christmas movie this year.
You didn't watch any? Fuck, I watched one in November.
Let's start a war. I watched Nightmare Before Christmas.
Didn't you watch Christmas at the Holly Hotel?
I did. That was not a movie. I don't know what you're talking about.
As the bells jingled and I made my figgy pudding, I decided to once again go to the movies with Michelle. So
I know what's coming.
I saw Godzilla -1. If Godzilla was ever gone, he's back, and boy is he back. This movie, amazing. If this isn't nominated for visual effects or any category, something's wrong with the Academy. Something's wrong. As I was going through this list, just a little side note, I saw this movie called Lord of Misrule. I saw that it released on December 8th, 2023. I have never seen this movie. I love the post for it. As you guys were explaining your films, I decided to silently watch the trailer for it, and I kind of want to watch it. So the next movie that I saw was a little cute little film that DC put out called Merry Little Batman. Decided feeling very crispy one day, and like, yeah, you know what, fuck it. The animation looks interesting, and it's exactly from like a child's like sort of storybook, very Ronald Dahl sort of style. And it's a cute film. Lib was saying before how we watched Son of the Batman, and just put the review as Bat Dad. This is the review I would put for this film. Bat Dad. That's it. two honorable mentions: The Boy and the Heron, Poor Thing. Two movies I really want to go watch.
Yeah, I need to watch both those movies.
Yeah.
I need to watch both those movies as soon as possible. But then I watched something that nobody was kind of expecting. But Pat, you were talking about Flushed Away. You know what? Another movie that they put out this year? Chicken Run. Fucking Chicken
Yeah,
Run.
Dawn of the Nugget.
Dawn of the Nugget.
I need to watch
And
it.
I gotta say, it's not as good as the original. Definitely was never gonna be as good as the original. I think the original stands the test of time in terms of like how well it was made, how articulate it was, how grounded it was. It wasn't like it wasn't complex at all. Set, camera work, story, not at all. But it was just complex enough to get the story across. Here, the sets are bigger, the models are done pretty much exactly how they looked like, I think like 25 years ago that Chicken Run released. Like I think they remade some of the puppets because like I think the current Chicken Run puppets are in a museum somewhere.
23 years ago, came out in 2000.
23 years ago.
Damn.
That's how long Chicken Run was. And this was Aardman's comeback because they haven't been really doing so much in terms of box office. So like, okay, let's start from our roots. Let's do Chicken Run again. But this is about the rooster and the chicken's kid, the main rooster and chicken.
Oh, Ginger and Rocky, dude.
Thank you.
I was trying to figure out who you were talking about, but you just said who's their name, and I was like, who's he talking about?
So this is about Ginger and Rocky's kid. Now that they live in this utopia, they want to try to keep their kids safe. They're helicopter parenting. And the kid wants to explore. She wants to go out. She wants to see what's beyond the lake. But her parents keep getting this PTSD flashback of literally being in their own version of a concentration camp. You may think, what the fuck, ToonMan? Watch the first Chicken Run. It's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. They're being stuffed, fed, just so they get killed. I shit you not, there's a scene in the original Chicken Run where a chicken's head gets cut off. The first movie was fucked up, but it was awesome. But yes, the parents keep having PTSD and they don't want like the kid to have the same experience. And so she leaves anyway, and then the movie begins. I still think people should go watch Dawn of the Nugget. I think it's still a solid watch. Still plays on very dark elements. Like there's this one scene where it like similar to the scene of what I just explained before that the chicken's head getting cut off. There's a scene where a chicken is getting grinded into nuggets, and the kid is watching. Ginger's kid is watching this chicken get grind up like through a machine, and she pulls her aside and says, "Just look at me. Just don't pay it." And she has like her feathers on her ears. And I think that's like really awesome that they added that. But yeah, it's still fucked up, but not as fucked up as the first one. Not at all.
One thing about Dawn of the Nugget, none of the cast came back. Like it's all brand new cast.
And honestly, I think the new cast did a pretty good job.
The only voice I heard was from the trailers because I haven't seen it yet. I really want to watch it because I love Aardman. But from the trailers, like it sounds like they're pretty close. I didn't think it'd be that hard to try to get Mel Gibson to come back, but I guess it was.
But I think that's pretty much it for what I've watched in December, and that concludes, I believe, all our 2023s.
Yeah,
that's what we watched in 2023. This took a long fucking time.
Yeah, that took a lot longer than I thought. But yeah, 2023, like just to wrap it all up, 2023 was a really good year for movies. I mean, we say that, but like there was a lot of stuff. Like legal stuff that happened around the film industry in 2023. But even then, that still didn't stop good movies from coming out. And a lot of good movies came out. And there was some good series that came out this year too. Not a lot that I've watched because I don't really have time to watch shows anymore. It was a great time. It was a great time for media in general, not just for movies, but for video games, TV shows, music. It was a good year for that.
It was a really good year for movies, but a bad year for the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, usually we would move on to a little segment where we talk about TV shows, but we've been going for quite a while. I'll just summarize what we've been watching lately with one word: man.
So I have this.
Can we all do that again in harmony?
Oh, I don't know if we're gonna be able to.
I'll try.
Let's try it anyway. Count us down.
Okay.
3. It's also on go. We do it. Or
on
like,
go.
Yeah, on
3,
go.
2, 1. And we do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Man. I can't wait to hear how that sounded.
This joke is okay. So I have this thing where I like to watch stupid TV shows in the background while I'm doing other things. Like, I need background noise to focus. So I watched all of Big Bang Theory this last year. I watched all of Friends last year, and then near the end of the year, I started watching Two and a Half Men, and I'm often in my Discord server watching these shows while doing things. So my friends will come in and join me for a couple episodes here and there. Right now, I am at season 8 of Two and a Half Men.
Oh my god. Shout out to Ajaneth from Monster Hunter Rise.
I spent 8 hours grinding for one item in Monster Hunter while watching Two and a Half Men. That was my day. That was my day.
Yeah. But now we're gonna move on to Backlogged. This is the segment where we recommend each other movies to watch in the next episode. And as you guys know, when we have a special guest on our show, we choose a movie to recommend to them. And if they ever come back on the show, and I'm sure Stefano, you want to come back, right? You're not too scared to come back, right?
No, not at all. I fucking hate both of you. I'm considering firing you from JW, both of you.
Well,
thank God, am I right, Lib?
And when they do come back, we'll talk about the movie that we recommended them. So, last time Steph was on the show with us, we recommended him to watch Casino Royale, and he recommended us Hackers, and that was the bit we did at the very beginning. It came full circle 2 hours later, just like we said.
Foreshadowing.
Can I read my review of Hackers on Letterboxd?
Yeah, you want to start with Hackers?
I think we should end with Hackers.
Yeah, I think we should start with Casino Royale.
I mean, I'll talk about Casino Royale briefly because I don't know if you guys want to do a podcast show about it.
We do, but it's on the down low. Hint, hint.
Solid movie. I do have a question though.
Sure.
2 questions actually. Technically, did I need to watch the previous movies to understand what was going on with this movie?
No, Casino Royale's a reboot. That's why we gave you Casino Royale, because it's a reboot.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that's like the beginning of the reboot, right?
Yeah, Casino Royale's the first. That's Daniel Craig's first 007 movie, and it was a reboot for the entire series.
So James Bond's kind of a jerk in this one. An ass. I think it was fine. I think now I understand where I'm at with spy movies. I don't think spy movies are for me.
That's right.
Because I kept watching this film and then just, I don't know, no wow factor, no in terms of storyline. I just found James Bond was just a very unlikable character in this one. Vesper's awesome. I think Vesper's amazing. She's an ass though, but she's amazing. I think she also has a lot of hypocritical aspects to her character. Like, she will have a nervous breakdown because she involuntarily killed somebody. And then later on, we'll probably have no problem knowing that... Can I spoil... Like, I guess it doesn't matter for the viewers.
You can spoil it, yeah.
Oh, okay. Later, she has no problem understanding that James Bond could have been killed indirectly from her betrayal. I don't know, it's weird. I was unimpressed by the casino.
Yeah, the casino. Well, I mean, you've technically seen it before. Do you remember when we used to play Trouble in Terrorist Town on Gmod?
No, yeah.
Yeah, the map we used to play was Casino Royale.
No, I pieced it together.
Yeah.
But like the way that it was shot, I don't know, for something called a Casino Royale. I don't know, I thought it'd be bigger. I thought it'd be more glamorous, more eye-popping. I'm not saying it's not glamorous now. It's still kind of glamorous. I don't know. Thought it'd be more flashy. I really like this scene. The first time James Bond and the main antagonist, was it Le Chiffre?
Le Chiffre.
Chiffre?
Le Chiffre.
Le Chiffre.
The number.
Le Chiffre came face to face, and no words were exchanged. I don't know, and this is actually my follow-up question. Did Le Chef know who James Bond is? Or does he just know that that's his name?
Le Chiffre doesn't know who James Bond is. No one knows who James Bond is because that was his first mission. Like, you know at the beginning of the movie where it's like in black and white?
Yes.
That was James's first mission.
Okay.
And his mission with Le Chiffre is like his second or third. So no one knows who he is yet. But Le Chiffre does know that an MI6 agent is trying to find him.
Fucking it up, but he doesn't know it's Bond.
Yeah, he doesn't know it's Bond.
Okay, because that if anything, that makes the scene even better. Because the first time they go face to face, Bond knows who he is. The Chiffre doesn't know who Bond is. And Bond, all he's doing is just making calls. And it's pissing the Chiffre off.
Yeah.
like he's doing nothing but just playing the game, and he's like the Schiff is just pissed off about it. He becomes like this whiny asshole. But then he owes somebody money, and then the Schiff is fine. I think he could have. He's not necessarily a threatening Bond villain. I think he's like meh. He becomes threatening later on, but like when he's at gunpoint because he owes somebody money, he's kind of like a whiny asshole.
Yeah, the thing about James Bond, the character, not the franchise, is the James the character, he is not necessarily a good person. Like, and he's a good agent. He's kind of like MI6 just like describes him as a loose cannon. Like, he's really, really good at what he does, but he's a fucking asshole. Like, if you go back and watch the really old ones, he's even more of an asshole, and he treats everybody like garbage. He's not necessarily like someone you would want help, like someone you would want to help you in like for something, but if there's like a really bad situation, you want him to be there. That's the kind of character he is.
I also understood that there's a long period before the movie actually starts. There's the beginning scene, the black and white scene where it's his first mission, and I think that was shot very well. I like it that it's in black and white to like reminisce on the old Bond, and I like the beginning when the intro plays and like the really fucking killer intro music starts playing.
Oh yeah, dude. James Bond intros, they're all good.
I like it that he's shooting somebody as the camera's in like the barrel of the gun, and I thought it was like, oh, that's really cool. It's very classic James Bond. But then he goes on another mission where he meets somebody who dies.
Yeah, where he's in like Brazil or something.
Yeah, like a character that like, okay, I thought we were gonna get to know this person, or like, I don't know, maybe we were gonna get to know this person, but like, why should I care for her death? Also, what's the Schiff's motive?
The fuck if I know, dude. I think he's just a terrorist. James Bond is like, they tried harder later. Like the older movies, they didn't try at all. They just tried to make a spy drama or a spy flick, like something good. And then during the Pierce Brosnan era, they tried too hard to be like thriller genres. And then during the Daniel Craig era, they kind of went back to just trying to make a good spy flick. But James Bond, the character, throughout the entire series, like the whole series, is at his best in No Time to Die. And like that's the only time where he has morals, basically. It's the only time he really shows his morals.
I think it's a fine film. I think it's solid.
Yeah, I would recommend for you to continue at least the Daniel Craig movies. You could skip Quantum of Solace. You could just go straight to
I heard
Skyfall.
that was awful.
Quantum of Solace, it's not awful, it's just boring.
Oh, okay.
Spectre is awful.
Pat, do you have any insight for me on this series?
I mean, like, if you watched this one and you didn't, like, you walked away from this one thinking this franchise isn't for me, spy movies aren't for me, I think this is the best one. So I don't think any of the other movies are gonna change your mind.
Fair enough.
Which isn't a bad thing, right? I think this movie is a little slow, but I think it uses its time well in that regard. I think it's a good slow burn, you know. But that's not for everybody, and that's fine.
But thank you for the recommendation. I still enjoyed my time with it. I like the action. I like the cinematography. I love the choreography. It's just it's not for me.
Yeah.
But now I gave you a movie that was specially designed for you both, called Hackers.
We watched it yesterday, so that's it all together. Please go watch this movie. I want to read my review.
I think that's the best thing for all of us. I think we should just all read the review and leave it at that.
Okay, let's do that.
I'm gonna read my review. I'm in IT. I'm an IT guy. I'm in this field for 10 years. This movie resonated with me. But I'm gonna read my review and then I'm gonna stop talking because I think everybody who hasn't seen it should just go in blind and just watch it. Here's my review. I honestly can't tell if this movie is a genuine stroke of genius or the biggest piece of dog shit I've ever seen in my life. This movie opened my eyes and then closed them. For a brief moment, I was all, and all was me. But now I'm back behind my computer screen, and I don't know where the movie ends and where I begin. Wow. Just wow.
And now here's mine. So my background in IT is basically self-taught. I never actually worked in the field. I am in school to become a sysadmin though, so here we go. As a network admin in training, I have only one thing to say. This movie is the best movie.
And as for me,
Yeah, go ahead.
for
Steph.
Hackers 1995, this review may contain spoilers. You're not an IT guy unless you have a skateboard as your mode of transportation.
You put a spoiler tag on it.
Yeah. What do you mean? It's a crucial part of the film.
Look, guys, look, this is it's so hard to talk about this movie. Like everybody and their mother needs to watch this movie. It's not
I think
that
this
long.
is a slept-on classic, if you ask me.
Slept on classic, honestly. Look, to be completely 100% honest, the movie itself is maybe like 2 stars, 2.5. I wouldn't put anything higher than 2.5. But my enjoyment, I have never laughed so hard at a movie before. Like even like I don't. Trying to be serious. The movie's trying to be serious, but it just falls so flat. It's like those stupid movies like A Talking Cat and Skateboard Kid and shit like that. You know, like it's just so high on the enjoyment scale that I gave it 5 stars.
Yeah, this movie's up there with movies like The Room for me in terms of enjoyment, and that's all I
Yeah,
want to say.
Jesus Christ.
Hackers is my new like favorite shit movie.
I'm actually a little disappointed that Pat has very limited to say, because I wanted him I wanted his reaction the most. I knew what Liv's reaction was going to be. I wanted Pat's reaction.
I wish we could have watched this in person. It would have been so funny.
It would have been so
hilarious.
funny.
There's so much I want to say, and there's also like, it's just so fun. It's just a fun movie. It's so dumb. It's oh my god, it's so dumb.
Like there's one part where there's a Cookie Monster virus on the computer, and the way they get rid of it is by typing the word cookie on their keyboard.
I want to describe one scene for the audience. A giant company has now been hacked. Penn is sitting at the computer screen while calling his boss. His boss is in bed, lying down, blankets on his face. He receives the call and says, "Hey, what's going on?" Penn explains, from Penn and Teller, by the way. Penn explains, "Hey, somebody's sort of hacking our database," and he calls him by his first name. He then says, "Don't call me by my first name. Call me the Plague." So the Plague puts down the phone, and sorry, before he puts down the phone, he says, "I'll be there in a minute," then puts down the phone. Cut back to Penn sitting at his desk in a melancholic manner as the CEO and the Plague rides in on his skateboard, stops in front of the computer, pulls up his skateboard and says, "I is here," and throws away his skateboard again.
He says, "Never fear, I is here."
I shit you not. Ladies and gentlemen, I shit you not. This is part of the film. This is a scene.
You guys, everybody needs to watch it. And because we all loved this movie so much, we have given ourselves hacker names. That's what we said. Remember 3 hours ago? I am Hyperlink.
I am Pineapples.
I am Toon Boy.
And we are hackers.
Good night.
Oh man, no, honestly, great. Like that movie was garbage, but like hilarious. Great recommendation. Thank you, Steph. I've never laughed so hard at a movie in my life, honestly.
I knew you guys were gonna enjoy it. I saw this movie, I'm like, I need to show these guys this movie. This is a travesty that I haven't found this year.
Now we have another trade to make.
Yeah.
Yep. I give you a movie, you give me a movie.
That's right. I guess we'll go first. We'll give you your movie. So this is a movie where Pat, you're 100% sure he hasn't seen it, right?
I'm pretty sure you haven't seen it.
This guy sees a lot of movies. Well, I mean, he didn't say it during his...
He didn't say it. I don't remember him saying it last year, so I'm pretty sure.
So, Steph, this is a movie that needs no introduction, really. You know, we should just say the fucking name of the movie.
We are recommending you, Mr. ToonMan, a little movie about relatively unknown guys. It's called 80 for Brady.
When we were looking at the list of like movies that were coming out in December, I saw it there.
Yeah,
I remember
you
seeing the
were-
trailer for this movie.
yeah.
You were watching 80 for Brady.
Is it good or is it garbage?
I don't
I
know.
haven't seen it. I don't know.
We haven't seen it, but
No, why did you recommend it?
so because we want to watch it too.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna recommend Suzume, but 80 for Brady'd be funnier.
And I was gonna recommend Who Killed Captain Alex because you gave us
Alright, 80 for
hackers.
Brady.
So yeah, 80 for Brady is your homework for next year.
Yeah, I guess so. But as for your homework for next year, I gave you a garbage movie. I gave you a god awful shit fuck of a movie. You guys both enjoyed Josh Hutcherson in Friday Nights at Freddy's, right? You thought he was a pretty good actor during that time,
Yeah.
right?
Can you blow my whistle, baby?
Yeah. I'm gonna recommend you some of his earlier work called Bridge to Terabithia.
I've
I've
seen
seen
it.
That's the reason why I was asking you on your letterbox, and you told me it didn't matter.
I forgot I saw it, man. I saw it when I was like a kid, like we watched it in class.
And I'll watch it again.
All right, we'll watch it again. Well, I have not seen it in like 15 years.
I mean, I haven't seen it in like 15 years or something. So
Yeah, I'm gonna. That's what I'm recommending you. That's it. I'm stamping it down. That's Bridge to Terabithia. That's your home.
All right, Bridge to Terabithia. You know, honestly, like to be honest, I don't remember a single thing from the movie/book. We read the book in class too, so I don't remember anything from it. So this is like watching it brand new.
I remember it very vividly, but it's gonna be interesting to revisit it as an adult.
Yeah, I remember watching it as a kid too, and it's been a while since I've seen Bridge to Terabithia. And after seeing Josh Hutcherson, I saw his repertoire, and I completely forgot he was in Bridge to Terabithia. He played
He
the
was a
main character.
wee baby child.
Yeah, he was so young, so young. And he made us cry. At a young age, he made us all cry.
Oh yeah, right. Like, oh, spoiler. He dies at the end, doesn't he?
No. There's a reason why he makes us cry, but like he makes us cry.
I remember someone dies in this book. I forgot who.
You're right, but I'm not gonna tell you.
But that's my recommendation,
And
and
that's-
I'll take your recommendation in stride.
All right.
That's your recommendation, and then that's the episode.
Yeah. Well, geez, what a long one, huh?
As I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this is for the audience. I had to leave an hour ago, but
Oh fuck.
just for you, I'm still here.
Where did you have to go?
Don't worry about it. That's for me to know.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. Thank you, Stefano, for joining us again for another episode. It's been a blast,
Most
dude.
appreciate.
We'll do this again in 2025.
Yeah. Before we close off, Stefano, where can the good folks find you?
You could see the JW channel. We're all there. It's not just me. I've dragged these two idiots along with me. Posted a nice little video of a Rage Room video where we all break stuff legally. In
Yeah.
the legal confines of a room. Hey, we got some more stuff coming. Can't speak. We got more stuff coming on the channel, and one very important announcement that I'm gonna make very soon that will probably change the whole channel itself. But stay tuned for that.
And yeah, so yeah, go ahead, check out Jazz Walkers on YouTube. Also check out YT ToonMan on Twitter. That's his Twitter.
Why am I on Twitter?
I don't know. People want to follow you, dude.
Do they? Is there comments saying?
I don't know. They want to keep up with what you're doing. You know, like every time a new video gets posted, you put it on Twitter. So you go ahead, yeah. But seriously, go check out Jazz Walkers on YouTube. The channel's just called Jazz Walkers. We have a awesome, hilarious new video up there right now where we break things legally. It's great. And where can you find us? Well, you can find us on any streaming platform. Not streaming. Sorry, we're talking about movies a lot today.
First Off Reel's coming on HBO.
Woo! Fresh Off the Reel on Disney Plus. After we dogged on it.
Can you imagine?
Oh man, no, I cannot. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you like this episode, you want to see more, make sure to follow us on our social medias, our Instagram and our X, aka Twitter. I'm still gonna call it Twitter. Fuck you, Elon. You can also find us on all of your favorite podcast apps and podcast platforms, as well as the good old YouTube. And if you are watching on Spotify or YouTube, make sure you scroll down and leave a comment. Tell us what you thought about the episode. We really love hearing your feedback. Speaking of hearing your feedback, make sure to fill out our little recommendation thing that we have on our link tree. That's linktr.ee/fresh-off-the-reel. No spaces, no caps. There you could find a place where you can recommend us a movie or TV show. We'll take that recommendation and we'll make it into an episode. So let's get those coming, guys. We're back 2024. Sorry for not being in 2023. We're making our comeback. We're pulling an Aardman. We're making our comeback. But once again, one final thank you to Stefano for joining.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure. You guys are awesome.
Thanks, dude.
I wanted to let the audience know.
This has been Hyperlink, Pineapples, and Toon Boy signing off the internet. See you in a theater near you. Good night, everybody.
Bye. Until we get there.
Yeah, I think so too, Fed. Sorry, you went robot there.
Okay, it wasn't just me. I thought my connection was shit.